Hello everyone, if you're new to my channel, consider liking and subscribing. It will make me feel wonderful if you do that. Thanks. By the way, I also have another Naruto and Luffy fanfiction channel. If you are interested, link is in the description.
The king is back and is here to conquer by Monkey Prince. Monkey D. Luffy watches as his crew is murdered by Sakatsuki Akainu and Blackbeard. Luffy is angry as the corrupted marine didn't even give them a trial and just resort to joining with a pirate to defeat him after he learned the dirty secret of the world government. But he was given a second chance by 3 heroes from other worlds, and they also give him abilities from their universes. This time, Luffy will not let anything happen to his friends. I don't own anything. Adios.
Unknown location. Luffy Pav. Where am I? He asked himself. Wasn't he supposed to be dead? Didn't that magma mud killed him? He remembered arriving in Raftel and discovering the dirty secret of the world government. About Imu and what truly happened in the Void Century. About his true mission as the user of the Hito no Mi model sun god Nika. To liberate the world of the cruel dictatorship of the world government and clean the Marines. And above all, help his father form a democratic government, one without those freaks of nature known as Celestian dragons. "You're awake?" said a voice. Luffy looked around and saw 3 people. One looked like a ghost. The other had a strange white hairstyle and the last one had blonde hair with long smile. "Who are you?" Luffy asked. "Where am I?" "You can call this the other world. A place you go before you are either sent to heaven or hell," answered the ghost. "My name is Anakin Skywalker, by the way." "The name is Goku," said the one with the strange white hairstyle and ring above his head. He also had a long white beard. "And mine is Uzumaki Naruto," said the blonde hair man. "Where I am going to go?" Luffy asked. "I was a pirate." "You weren't truly a pirate, Luffy," said Anakin. "You were more an adventurer who didn't follow the world government rules." "But I'd attack Enies lobby, Impel Down and Marineford," Luffy said confused. "Because you were provoked," said Naruto. "You did what you thought was right. You were declared a pirate by the corrupted world government. Remember, it was Nezumi who gave you a bounty. So, we are going to offer you something," said Goku. "What's that?" Luffy asked a bit depressed. "A chance to save everyone," Naruto answered. "Your nakama. The girls that love you and you never realized. That's rich coming from the kid that didn't know about the crush his wife had on him as kids, and let's not forget you thought it was some kind of disease," Anakin said laughing. "An. I will follow canon, so Hinata is Naruto's wife. I know many hates Boruto, but remember, this is a One Piece fanfiction. Naruto blushed a crimson red at those words, while Goku burst out laughing. "And you, Goku, don't laugh, you didn't even know the difference between a man and a woman." Goku stopped laughing as he also blushed a crimson red, while Luffy burst out laughing. "Why are you laughing?" Naruto and Goku screamed with sharp teeth. "I knew about Hancock loving me," Luffy said with sadness. "The same with Nami, Vivi and Robin. But I never want to do anything because of who my father was. I would put them in too much danger, more than already been on my crew, and Hancock had Amazon Lily to worried about." "That's noble," said Anakin, while Goku and Naruto had a black cloud above them that was raining on them because apparently Luffy wasn't a complete idiot about women. "But seriously, you didn't know the difference between a man and woman?" Luffy asked Goku, who blushed a crimson red from embarrassment. "In my defense, I live alone without an adult for a long time until I meet my best friend Bulma," Goku mumbled in a low voice. "Okay, let's go back to the part about saving my nakama," Luffy said as he felt Goku had enough embarrassment. "Right," said Goku, going to him. "Well, we have been given permission by a powerful god to send you back in time, to when you were 7 years old. You would have already eaten the Hito no Mi model sun god Nika. Your gears will be there but need training, especially your last one. You will have to train your haki from zero. Also, we will give you some of our abilities. From me, you will learn my fighting style, ki and my techniques. Making you a Saiyan would be far too dangerous, not to mention you could blow up your planet if you get too angry." Luffy's eyes widened and almost come out of his sockets when he heard that. He then looked at Naruto, who was next apparently to give him his abilities. "From me, I give you chakra," said Naruto. "My chakra affinity, which is wind, and finally, my father's jutsu, the Rasengan. Giving you Kurama is probably as bad as making you a Saiyan." "Who is Kurama?" Luffy asked curious. "A fox the size of a mountain with 9 tails, capable of destroying a village with only one of the tails," Naruto answered. "What's with this guys? They are literally monsters." "Finally, from me, you will learn my sword fighting style," said Anakin. "I would give you the force, but it won't be much useful to you. Just remember that while you will have all these abilities, you have to train them." "So, do you accept?" Naruto asked him. "I do," said Luffy. "Is there anything else I should know?" "Yes," Naruto answered. "Nami and Vivi are 2 years younger than you, while Hancock and Robin have your age." "That's interesting," Luffy said. "So, are you ready?" Goku asked. "Remember to train hard and be the hero you truly are." "But heroes are Luffy started with what his grandpa told him, but Naruto interrupted him. Are not someone who shared their meat, Naruto said annoyed. They are those who help people without asking anything in return. And you were already a hero the moment you free Shellstown from that corrupted marine. Luffy nodded as he looked at the three people once more. He will definitely kick his grandfather's ass. Wait, if Hancock is my age, then she would be already been kidnapped, Luffy said in anger. Then be a hero and free her, said Anakin, show her that not all men are evil. The next time you woke up, you will be in Dawn Island, Naruto said. Good luck, said Goku. Suddenly, everything turned dark and Luffy woke up in Makino's bar Fuchsia village. Dawn Island Luffy paused when he opened his eyes, he was on Makino's bar. Luffy saw the loser bandit that was eaten by the sea monster after he threw Luffy to the sea, and suddenly Luffy felt as he received a lot of information on his brain. Things he didn't understand at the beginning but knew what they were. Powerful wind jutsus, another jutsu called Rasengan, and its most powerful version called the Rasen Shuriken. Also everything about chakra and ki. Last but least, the sword fighting style of Anakin Skywalker and fighting style and techniques of Goku, which included the Kamehameha, Kaioken, Spirit Bomb and many more. Damn, this is going to be hard to train, Luffy thought to himself. A sound of something been destroyed put him out of his thoughts. He saw the loser bandit destroying a chair when Makino slapped him away. How dare you? The bandit that Luffy didn't even remember how was he called. Luffy concentrated and used a small burst of Conqueror's Haki to knock out the bandits and attract the attention of Shanks. After all, he did learn that the Tomato Head married Makino and had a child with her. And as Luffy predicted, Shanks entered the bar running in a panic. Luffy, was that you? Shanks asked confused, and what the hell happened here? Well, this bandits come back and started destroying the place and were molesting Makino. Luffy answered. I got angry and then they passed out. Luffy obviously was lying, and wherever Shanks believed it or not, Luffy didn't care about it. He knew Shanks wasn't an idiot to tell that to just anyone. Well, if you think that with knocking out this bandits I will take you with me, you are mistaken, Anchor, Shanks said laughing. A tick mark appeared on his forehead. So, that's how you want to play, Shanks. So be it. He looked at Shanks smiling evilly when he sensed Shanks' crew arriving. Like I want a Tomato Head as my captain, Luffy replied just when Usopp and the other members of the Red Hair Pirates entered the bar. They instantly burst out laughing with what Luffy called Shanks. I will form my own crew that will be more powerful than yours. Then I will become one of the emperors of the sea, and then, when I find the One Piece, I will become the king of the pirates. Shanks' eyes widened with that and Luffy saw him smile at him. An emperor and then the king? Shanks said smiling as Luffy saw as he took out his hat and then felt as he put it in his head, almost making him tear up. Then make sure to take care of my treasure hat, and when you achieve your dream, return it to me. You have a deal, said Luffy smiling. A few days later, Shanks left, with both arms, while Luffy was 8 million bears richer as he delivered the bandits to the Marines, even if he hate them. Time to train as he will go rescue Hancock in 3 years. He wish he could go early, but he has to wait for Tiger Fisher. There has to be a way to contact him. He will need to study and read everything. There has to be more changes in the timeline besides the age difference. Is Ace and Sabo still older, or I am the older one? Luffy asked himself, to his rotten luck. His training was interrupted when his grandpa appeared, hit him with his fist of love and dragged him to Dandan. Just as he predicted, Ace was 1 year younger than him and Sabo will probably be the same. He felt something was coming towards him and he dodged the spit using his observation haki. He looked at Ace annoyed as he went to him and hit him on the head, making him squeak as a bump grew up in his head. Don't do that. It's disgusting, Luffy said annoyed. Boo ha 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 ha, Garp laugh. I see you are trying to do my fist of love. You will be a great marine. No way, said Luffy with stubbornness. I prefer to be a pirate. They're free and not slaves of the world government. Luffy dodged the fist of love with his observation haki. Did Garp even notice he is using observation haki? You will not become a pirate, said Garp angry. You will become a marine. Luffy decided that fighting over this was stupid and worthless, so he didn't say anything else. He will disappoint him once more when Luffy becomes a pirate and at a much younger age. He will not let Garp choose his destiny. He didn't let him do it in the previous timeline and he will not let him do it now. After he left, Luffy went to the forest to train. He will befriend Ace and Sabo, but he will also train hard. In 3 years, he will become strong enough to make the Marines fear his name. 3 years later, he decided that Sabo was better with the Revolutionary Army, and so, after Sabo was killed by that Celestian pig, he met his father and asked him for a favor. To let him meet Tiger Fisher. When asked why, he said he wanted to rescue someone from the Holy Land, that he had a strange dream about a girl asking for help. Wherever his dad believed it or not, Luffy didn't care. He was going to rescue Hancock and her sisters. That was a promise. So, it was a surprise when Luffy was told that Tiger Fisher was a member of Roger's crew in this timeline, and it was shocking. Not to mention he didn't hate all humans. He hated the world nobles, but who didn't? He also find out that Tiger Fisher was now part of the Revolutionary Army, much to his shock. When his father told him they were planning to attack the Holy Land, well, Luffy didn't expected that at all. This was truly a totally different timeline. Luffy, you are my kid, said Dragon, putting you in danger is something I don't want. You already did that when you left me with a man obsessed with the Marines, Luffy said annoyed, and let's not forget his method of training to become a Marine, is throwing people to a jungle full of dangerous animals. Fair point, said Dragon sweet drooping, wait, what did you say? Luffy noticed that his father's voice sounded furious. His method of training is by throwing me into a jungle full of dangerous animals, Luffy repeated. And that's the reason why I hated the Marines, mumbled Dragon, very well, but if you want to come, you will show me what you can do. Luffy smirked at that and so he prepared to show him how strong he has become. It was hard to master Ki and Chakra in just 3 years. Haki was easier because he already had his memories of training for 2 years and the instructions of Rayleigh. So, his father took him to his ship and then took Luffy with him to one of his bases close to Dawn Island. Luffy knew he will change the timeline by a lot, just by meeting Sabo much earlier, but he has his own objectives and one of them was to build a very powerful crew. He will try to recruit much earlier and train them. Luffy knows, the moment he attacks the Celestian pigs, he will get a high bounty and a lot of attraction. Let's fight then, said Dragon as he went towards him before Luffy could even be ready, but Luffy dodged it. Thanks to his training with observation haki, but it wasn't enough as he was kick on his behind and was sent flying, but he used his flying technique to stop. What the hell? Kamehameha, Luffy said, sending Goku's favorite technique. Dragon barely dodged it as the wave blow up on the sea. Ups. He got overboard and almost killed his father with that. What the hell was that? Dragon asked astonished. It's something I was given by a very powerful god, Luffy said. It was technically true, but the truth was that it belonged to someone named Goku, a hero from a different world. Well, you need to control it, said Dragon, and don't get distracted. Luffy's eyes widened when he saw his father turn to wind and went to him at fast speed trying to punch him, but he put armament haki combining it a bit with ki on his fist and blocked the attack, causing a massive shockwave. Not bad, son. Keep showing me what you can do. As you wish, father, said Luffy as he created a Rasengan, making sure it wasn't a powerful Rasengan. What the fuck? Said Dragon as got hit in the stomach and was sent flying to some rocks. That actually hurt a lot, even when I felt it was not meant to kill. Am I right? That's correct, Luffy answered. If I actually used in full power, I would have killed you, DADT to kill my enemies. I'm proud of you, son, Dragon said. Care to join me? If I can leave after a few years, then no problem. I want to an Emperor of the Seas and later, the King of the Pirates, Luffy exclaimed with proudness. You do know your grandpa will be pissed off, right? Dragon said. I know, said Luffy. That's why I told my little brother Ace to run for his life when he comes. I told him what I had to do and the Marines will not help me. Well, are you ready? Dragon asked Luffy. Remember, there will not turning back from attacking the Holy Land. AN. The other name is hard to remember how to write it, so I will just call it like this. I am father, said Luffy. Holy Land, red line 1 month later. Luffy Pov climbing the red line was going to be the hardest part, but Tiger Fisher helped him with that part. Been part of the Revolutionary Army and a close friend of his dad, had its advantages. When they arrived, Luffy used his new sword to cut down the royal knights like butter. This bastards defend the Celestian dragons while innocent people are either killed or kidnapped. They don't deserve to breathe the same air. After all the guards were taken care of, he looked at his father. Give then hell, son, said Dragon, go find whoever you're looking for. Luffy nodded as he used his observation haki to look for Hancock and her sisters. This could go 2 ways. As Hancock is his age, she probably doesn't have that much hate, but it can also be that she already suffered enough with those despicable creatures. Luffy prays that she will not try to turn him to stone, although it may not work as she is a child. Luffy started running as he went to all the houses of the freaks and started killing guards and freeing slaves. He didn't care if they were humans, giants, minks, longlegs or fishman. He wasn't a racist and in the future that's lost. He befriended many of the races. He freed them all as he killed guard after guard. Finally arriving to where he sends her. Hold on, Hancock-chan, said Luffy to himself. I am coming for you. He cut down another guard as he destroyed the door and going to where they keep their slaves. The first thing he did was freeing all the slaves as he did with the other houses. Finally, he arrived where Hancock and his sisters were. Hancock, even as a child, was cute. Who are you? Hancock asked in a childish voice, so different from the woman he met. What do you want? My name is not important right now, Luffy answered as he took out their collars. Just follow me and be fast. The moment the Marines arrived, this will be harder to get out of here. Why are you helping us? Marigold asked. I have my reasons, Luffy answered, reasons I will explain later. First, we need to get out of this hell. I hope you keep that promise, Hancock answered, because if you don't, I will make sure to find out what is my devil fruit power. Luffy suspected that was going to happen. But Luffy decided to tease her a bit. Sadly, it won't work unless you are a teenager, Luffy said, while laughing. A tick mark appeared her forehead. What's that supposed to mean? Hancock asked annoyed. I will tell you later, said Luffy as he blocked a Holy Knight sword and then punched him in the stomach, sending him away. As you can see, I have to protect you three beautiful ladies. Luffy saw as Hancock and her sisters blushed a crimson red as Luffy laughed. Come on. Right, said Hancock. Luffy smiled as they exit the mansion of the world noble. Everything outside was in flames and the knights were running like headless chickens trying to stop the revolutionary army. He used his ability to sense ki, and when he knew there wasn't anyone left on the mansion, he threw a ki blast powerful enough to blow it up to ashes. What the hell? Why did you that? Marigold asked, even though Luffy could see tears in her eyes as well as her sisters, Sandersonia and Hancock. Because you suffer in that hell, Luffy answered, so it had to go. That's justice for the crimes those freaks of nature did to you. They aren't human, they are scum. Let's go. Luffy saw the three sisters nodding at him as they continued running until they were stopped by a Celestian dragon. He was an ugly bastard, probably because of the inbred they do. You will pay, he screeched. After I kill you, I will take those girls and make them sue. Luffy interrupted him when he cut off his head in a simple movement with his sword. I won't let you touch them, said Luffy furious, not ever again. The headless body fall down, as the head of the Celestian dragon rotated on the floor. A surprised look could be seen. Luffy saw as Hancock went to the head and kicked it off. Then she went to Luffy and gave him a kiss on the cheek, making him blush a crimson red, and then she hugged him and seconds later, he hugged her back. Thank you, she said as she cried. Luffy continued hugging her and comforted her. No problem, said Luffy, but we need to go. I just kill a world noble and it will get us a lot of attention. Hancock nodded, as they continued running until he saw his father once again. You did good, son, he said. Come on, I will take you to an old friend of Tiger Fisher. Who? Luffy asked curious as they went to an elevator, although he already knew. If Tiger Fisher was part of Roger's crew, then it had to be Silver Rayleigh, also known as the Dark King, vice captain of the Rogers Pirates, right hand of Gold D. Roger, the first king of the pirates. You will see, his father said. Soon, they were clear of the Marines and government agents as the Holy Land burned. Sometime later, Shaki's bar, Sabah the archipelago. I will contact Amazon Lily right away, said the Shikayaku. I can't believe that a former empress is here, said Hancock. Can I ask why? That's because I fell in love and I choose Rayleigh over dying, said Shikayaku. So, if I decided to return to Amazon Lily, would I die? Hancock asked so suddenly, that Luffy looked at her confused. Did she love someone else? It'd make Luffy scared a bit. Why do you say that? Shikayaku asked. I doubt you meet another man besides Luffy here. I love him, she said suddenly. Luffy's eyes widened with that. So, even when she is his age, she falls for him very quickly, even when I am only 10. I know I feel something for him. Luffy smiled at that. It took him a while to know Hancock loved him when he was training with Rayleigh. The old man decided to give him the talk after he told him what he was feeling for Nami, Vivi, Robin and Hancock. It was the most embarrassing talk of his life. He was thankful that Rayleigh had an aura of grandfather, so it was a good thing. Well, that's not good, said the familiar voice of Elder Nyan. Empress Gloriosa, Hancock said surprised. Hello there girls, she said. Who did it? Who rescued you? That would be me, said Luffy, as I promise. My name is Monkey D. Luffy, the proud son of Monkey D. Dragon and grandson of Monkey D. Garp. He avoided saying anything else up. But you are 10, Gloriosa said surprised. And he is very powerful, said Hancock. He is deadly with his sword and I bet anything he would be even deadlier with a supreme great sword. Really, said Rayleigh. Luffy saw as he went into his room and got out moments later. Then it's a good thing my captain gave me this and told me to give it to someone worthy of using her. Luffy's eyes almost pop out of his sockets when he saw the famous Cutlass Ace. The supreme great sword of Gold D. Roger. Take care of it, kid. Why give it to me? Luffy asked. We are strangers, and I am just a kid. I feel you are meant to have her. You were born 1 year before he died, right? Rayleigh asked. Luffy nodded and it was true. In this timeline, he was older than Ace by 1 year. He said that someone very powerful was born when we were sailing on our final voyage. When he said his final goodbye, he gave me the final order of finding the person when he surrendered himself to the Marines. Luffy suddenly felt as someone familiar was in danger. Robin. But why was she here? I will come back in a second, said Luffy as he used his gear second to went to where Robin was been chased by Marines. She really was his age and she looked like she had been in hell. Her clothes were rags and she was bleeding from her head. Kill her in the name of absolute justice, screamed a Marine. Something in Luffy broke at hearing those words. Unknowingly to him, he had grabbed Ace when he went out and because of his knowledge of sword fighting, thanks to Anakin, He wiped out all the Marines in an instant. When he calmed down, his eyes widened when he saw Ace on his hands, covered in blood. He could feel its power with his haki. It was amazing and he could feel the sword was happy to finally be in battle once more. He put Ace back on the scabbard of his old sword. Luffy then gently went, "You okay?" Luffy asked as he showed her a hand to help her stand up. Seconds later, she took it, but she was shaking a lot. "I am," she answered as he helped her stand up. "Come with me," Luffy said, smiling at her. "I will take you somewhere safe until it's safe for you to leave." She nodded as she followed him. Luffy just hopes Hancock is not as jealous as she was on the previous timeline. When he come back, Rayleigh was smiling at him. "That was impressive," said Rayleigh. "How did the sword felt?" "Amazing," Luffy answered, "but I am sorry for taking it like that." "Don't worry about it," said Rayleigh, "it was for you anyway. Just promise me you will take care of Ace." "I promise," Luffy said, grabbing Ace. "Who's this?" Hancock asked Robin as she went to her. "Wait, you're bleeding. Are you okay?" "She was been chased by Marines," Luffy said, angry. "They were screaming for absolute justice, but I didn't know why. He wasn't supposed to know, and he want Robin to trust him. That he wasn't someone who will betray her." "My name is Nico Robin," Robin said suddenly, crying. "They want me dead because I am the only survivor of Ohara." She started crying harder as she told them how her island was destroyed by a buster call. How she watched the civilians been murdered by an unknown Marine in cold blood. He had a feeling it was Sakasuki Akainu. That Red Mutt was a psychopath after all. And how she heard it was for absolute justice. Luffy saw as Hancock hug her and comforted her once again. "Luffy-kun saved me and my sisters recently from hell," said Hancock. Luffy then realized she was crying. "I own him a lot for that." "We own him as well," said Sandersonia and Marigold at the same time, smiling at him. "While we don't feel what Hancock is feeling, we respect Luffy a lot," said Sandersonia. "Luffy, please call me Sonia from now on." "And call me Mari," said Marigold, smiling. "Well, this is troublesome," said Gloriosa. "Why does Luffy feel like he heard that word before?" "Well, it doesn't matter. You three want to follow Luffy, don't you?" "Yes," they said at the same time, surprising Luffy. "And I would like the same," said Robin. "You are kind people to a demon child like me." "You are not a demon," Luffy said with seriousness. "The Marines that kill your people are the real demons, and one day, they will get justice for their horrible crimes." "What are you planning to do, Luffy-kun?" Rayleigh asked. "Well, I want to remain hidden for now," Luffy said. "I don't know if I will have a bounty or not, but knowing the world government, I will, but probably a small one, considering that I was very careful." "Then let Hancock, her sisters and Robin come with me," said Gloriosa. "But I don't want to go back," said Hancock. "I want to be with Luffy." "You don't have to stay," said Gloriosa, shaking her head, "but become stronger and powerful, so when he gets ready to sail, you can help him reach his dream." "She's right," Luffy said. "I meant when I said I want to stay hidden, but I Aslo been offered to join Tiger Fisher's future pirate crew as a cabin boy, but I told him I will think it about it." "Becoming a cabin boy is like everyone starts," said Rayleigh. "That's how Shanks and Buggy started their paths, and both of them become Yonkos. Although how that coward achieved that, it's still a mystery to him." "Then when you are ready, we will come and find you," said Hancock. "We will become strong enough to make you proud." "You are already strong," said Luffy. "Robin, go with them. You will be safe and they will protect you." "Okay," said Robin. "I will train and become strong." "Don't let anyone tell you are a demon, because that's no true," Luffy said. "Thanks, Luffy," said Robin, smiling. 2 days later, Luffy saw as Gloriosa and Shikayaku took Hancock, her sisters and Robin to Amazon Lily. Luffy then called Tiger Fisher, accepting his offer of joining his crew, but to give him 2 months until the news of the attack on the Holy Land become old news somewhere in the Grand Line. 1 year later, Luffy Pav. "You are getting better in your hockey, kid," said Jimbei, "not to mention your sword skills." "Thanks, Jimbei," said Luffy, smiling, but in his head he knew what was coming. Wherever Tiger Fisher wants to be saved, would be his choice. He cannot say he knows he will die or Arlong will kill him for real, or at least try to. Luffy has been the cabin boy of the Sun Pirates for a year now, and he had been helping, but at the same time, trying to remain hidden when the Marines come. They haven't identified him or even managed to get a picture of him in the Holy Land, and the blame for killing the Celestian Dragon was going to the slaves that rebelled. When former slaves contact Tiger Fisher to deliver a girl to her island, Luffy knew what was coming. When he saw the young koala, he felt a lot of anger. She was very thin and she was afraid of everyone. Been the only human, he approached her careful. "Hello there," said Luffy. "My name is Monkey D. Luffy. You are the one that helped me escape," she said then. "You free me?" Luffy blinked rapidly at that. He freed many slaves and didn't look at them. He just freed them. "Do you want me to clean?" "What? No." Luffy said. "You are free. You will never have to that again." Luffy hugged the younger girl. She stiffened but hugged him back as she cried on his shoulders. "That's right, human," said then Arlong, laughing. "Prove how truly weak humans are." Luffy looked at Arlong with fury as he unleashed his conqueror's haki, knocking the xenophobic fishman into unconsciousness, foaming coming out of his mouth. "Don't ever said we are weak," Luffy said, "because I am very sure Gold D. Roger could have defeated you with his eyes closed." "That's true," mumbled Jinbei, shaking his head. "Roger wasn't someone who can mess with easily." "And let's not even mention Whitebeard," Luffy said, smiling at Arlong's followers, who gulped in fear. "Now, if you excuse me, I will help Koala get some better clothes." He then took Koala to his room, where he gave her some of his clothes and then exited the room to give her some privacy. "I wonder how Hancock-chan and Robin-chan are doing." "Luffy and Ikki, I am done," Koala said. Luffy smiled at the nickname. Guess he has another sibling to protect. Luffy wonders if Sabo will fall for Koala again. 1 week later, Luffy could feel the marines on the island and he will tell Tigerfisher. His observation haki was good and combined with ki and chakra, it was even stronger. "Captain, I can feel multiple marines on the island," Luffy said with seriousness. "This is a trap. Let me take Koala to her village." "The marines will kill you, kid," said Tigerfisher. "I am sure they know I have a human cabin boy by now and they will figure out it's you." "But they will kill you," Luffy said, feeling the tears coming out. "You're my captain, I can't let that happen." He felt a hand on his head as Tigerfisher smiled at him. "You are not only my apprentice, Luffy. You're my friend and besides, I can't let my captain's successor die," he said smiling, "so stay here, okay?" "Okay," said Luffy crying. He said goodbye to Koala after she hugged him. As a symbol of Koala's stay with the Sun Pirates, she asked for the Sun Pirate symbol to replace the hook of the dragon on her back. As they left, he knew what he has to do. "You will go anyway, don't you?" Jinbei asked Luffy, smiling at him. "Of course I will," said Luffy. "The Marines need to learn there are consequences when they attack us." Sometime later, he felt as Tigerfisher was been surrounded. Jinbei. "I know, Luffy-kun," he said. "Let's go." Luffy nodded as they went to where Tiger was. He clenched his fists in anger at seeing the wounded Tiger. He unleashed his conqueror's haki, knocking out all the Marines, foaming coming out from their mouths. There was one exception, the Vice Admiral, who was on his knees, breathing heavily. But Luffy did that on purpose. What do you love about chakra? It's that he can apparently heal people, although it's extremely hard. Naruto gave him chakra and all its uses, but only one element. The rest he learned it on his own. "You have guts attacking Marines and a Vice Admiral, brat," said the ugly Marine. "And you have guts ambushing my captain, bastard," said Luffy, furious. "But I forget that Marines are cowards, and let's not forget corrupted. Jinbei, take care of our captain." "Very well," said Jinbei as he picked up Tiger. "You aren't going anywhere, fish," said the Vice Admiral, Shigen. But before he got close to Jinbei, Luffy used Gear Second and cut off his hand with Ace. "Ah!" screamed the Vice Admiral as the place where the hand used to be was bleeding rapidly. "Coward," said Luffy as he unleashed even more Conqueror's haki, which Ace was reacting with, making the Marine sweat like a pig. "Where the hell did you get that sword?" screeched the Vice Admiral, breathing heavily. "In the name of absolute justice, I will bring you down." "Why would I answer that question to a dead man?" Luffy said as he cut off the head of the Vice Admiral. "Remember my name. It's Monkey D. Luffy." Luffy then left as he put Ace back to its scabbard and went back to his ship. After knocking out the Marines close to him and using his water walking ability, much to the surprise of the fishman, he jumped and landed on the ship his crewmates stole. "Did you just walk on water, Luffy-san?" Jinbei asked, surprised. "I did," Luffy answered, "but there is no time for that." "Where's the captain?" Jinbei then showed him where they put Tigerfisher. He was mortally wounded, and if Luffy didn't do something, he would die. "He can't allow that to happen, Captain. I can heal you. Let me help you." "Luffy, I know you are powerful, but he needs a blood transfusion that he refuses," said the medic of the Sun Pirates. "I have another ability," Luffy answered. "Please, let me help you." "My time here has come to end," Tiger said, smiling at Luffy. "I know you want to save me, Luffy, and I thank you for that. But I think it's time for me to lend the Sun Pirates to the next generation." "But Captain," Luffy and the other Sun Pirates said at the same time. "No buts," Tigerfisher said. "If I learned anything from being part of Roger's crew on his last year of life, is that not all humans are evil. We can live together and coexist." Luffy's eyes widened at that. This Tigerfisher was totally different than the original one. The one in the original timeline hated humans and died hating them. But this one, he had become protective of Koala and didn't let anyone bully her. "Luffy, continue being the great person you are and try not to kill unless you feel threatened." "Okay, Captain," Luffy said, crying. In his last life, at this age, he was trapped in Dawn Island. But in this one, he had become a cabin boy for the Sun Pirates and befriended almost all of them, including Hachi. He just hopes Arlong doesn't invade the Konami Islands like last time, or he will be forced to beat him up. "Jinbei, you're the new captain," said Tigerfisher. "Don't hate humans. The ones that did this paid the price, and it was a human who avenged me. Tell that to everyone on Fishman Island." With those words, Luffy saw as Tiger Fisher closed his eyes and died with a smile on his face. Luffy-san, Jinbei said, thank you. Luffy's eyes widened when he realized Arlong was missing and mentally cursed. Jinbei, where is Arlong? Luffy asked suddenly. An explosion put Mika's look outside. Damn, that idiot, Jinbei said, shaking his head 3 months later. Luffy sighed as he watched Arlong getting out of Impel Down. He was holding his first bounty and he was proud of it. Wanted dead or alive Monkey D. Luffy 20 million Barris. Devil Fruit. Unknown abilities. Unknown but deadly with a sword. Weapon. Cutlass Ace, previously held by the King of the Pirates. Gold D. Roger nickname, Straw Hat Crimes, attacking Marines as well as killing a Vice Admiral suspect in attack on Holy Land. And the dead of multiple knights and one Celestian dragon. Well, Gramps must be pissed off, Luffy mumbled to himself. After leaving Impel Down, they went to an island. Arlong, listen to me, Jinbei said suddenly, put in thoughts. No, said Arlong. I am leaving. You're still nice to a human. As Arlong started going, Luffy noticed that Hachi wasn't following him. That's strange, but thinking of Nami, he used his conquerors to attract his attention. Arlong looked at Luffy annoyed, but he was sweating. Don't get any close to East Blue, Luffy said with a serious tone. If I hear that you went there to do trouble, I will make you pay, got it? Are you threatening me, human? Arlong asked furious. I am still superior to you. Not a threat, Luffy said. A warning, Arlong scoffed as he started leaving until he noticed Hachi not following. What are you doing, Hachi? Arlong asked. Sorry, Arlong-san, Hachi said, but I want to follow Luffy-san. Luffy's eyes widened with that. That's changed in the timeline. Fucking traitor, Arlong scoffed as he jumped to the sea alongside Chu, Karubi and many other fishmen. You really believe he will do something? Jinbei asked. I do, said Luffy with sadness. Then please call me if you caught him, said Jinbei. I want to take care of him myself. After some others left, that Luffy knew they would end up turning into slavers. Much to the disgust of Luffy, as they would even sell mermaids. What would you do, Luffy-san? Jinbei asked him then, but before Luffy could answer, he felt the presence of someone familiar behind them. No way. Gurararara. That someone laughed, making Luffy and the Sun Pirates turn around and their eyes widened when they saw the ship and the person who laughed. How about becoming my son for a few years? And what do you think about that? Unknown Island Luffy Pav. Oh, what now? Luffy asked, confused. This was a huge change. Whitebeard offering him to become part of his crew. What an honor. Luffy had matured in many ways and knew that he can't reject this offer. He had to continue grow stronger, so he can beat Blackbeard in the future, and besides, he can improve his haki even more. Especially if he wants to kick Kaido's ass and take his Yonko title from him like he did before. Become my son, said Whitebeard. I heard what you did and I am very impressed, more so with the sword you are carrying. And when you ask to leave, then you can do it. I will help you in your dream, to become king of the pirates. But didn't you want Ace to become that? Even if Whitebeard doesn't know Ace yet, he will in the future. It would be an honor to be part of your crew, Whitebeard, Luffy said, bowing with respect. The first time he met him, he was far too disrespectful to him. Maybe it was because Anakin gave him something more than his sword fighting style, even when he was one crazy bastard when driving a ship and give Obi-Wan a heart attack each time it happened. Gurararara, Whitebeard laughed. You can call me Pops. You will be under my first commander, Marco. So, this is my new brother? Marco the Phoenix asked as he landed. Luffy smirked, as some of Naruto's personally got into him as well and combined with his own personality. It can be worst. Why are you smiling like that? No reason, Pineapple Nissan, Luffy said. That make Marco blinked and the rest of the Whitebeard pirates burst out laughing uncontrollably. Very funny, said Marco with a tick mark on his forehead. I like this kid, said another Whitebeard crewmate. Welcome new little brother, said another. Luffy smiled. Ace and Sabo were now his little brothers and not his big brothers, but he has a lot of big brothers and one big sister now. Thanks, said Luffy while looking at one very dangerous future pirate looking at him. Marshall D. Teach aka Blackbeard. He started everything when Luffy was 17, but now, the events are different. He was born 1 year before Roger was executed, meaning he will be 18 when he starts everything. 7 years are left until that, and Nami is 2 years younger than him. If Arlong attacks Konami Islands like before, then she would be 10 years old. A hand put him out of his thoughts. Luffy-san, said Hachi. What do you need me to do, Captain? That got him an idea and could be useful for Nami not to complete distrust Fishman for so many years. Hachi, I have a very bad feeling about Arlong, Luffy said. You think he will do something stupid, don't you? Jinbei asked Luffy. I am afraid his hate for humans will go too far, Luffy said with seriousness. Then I will join him, said Hachi. I will say I changed my mind? Luffy smiled at Hachi's new personality. He makes sure to teach him about certain things he was doing wrong. While he wasn't a complete idiot in the previous timeline, he did dumb things, like letting Zoro escape, and that was a huge help for Luffy. Hachi did some other dumb things, but Luffy doesn't remember very well what they were. Good, said Luffy. Please be careful, and if he does something like slave an entire island, tell them you are a spy from Monkey D. Luffy and that he is from East Blue. Your bounty is the same as him right now, Jinbe said, but if he really goes to the East Blue, his bounty will probably not increase, as it's the weakest blue, Luffy answered. To be honest, the world government are idiots, considering that my grandfather, father and Gold D. Roger are from East Blue. And I am too from there, but my bounty is low right now. Then I will protect anyone he harms, or at least try to, said Hachi. Luffy nodded, and he just hopes Hachi can save Nami's mother. Let's go then, said Whitebeard. Luffy nodded and he followed his new pops to the Moby. Meanwhile at Marineford 1 month later, Garp Pov. He was very angry and was not in the mood to hear the Magma Mutt complain about his son. So, he knock him out with his Conqueror's Haki and then throw him out of his office. Then he go back to think what happened recently. How could Luffy join his father? Why would he attack the Holy Land? Garp knew Luffy hated the Celestian Dragons because of what happened to Sabo, but what did was beyond revenge. Then he joined the Sun Pirates and then avenged Tigerfisher by beheading the Vice Admiral. Did Luffy hated the Marines so much? And how the hell does Luffy known about Haki? Where the hell he got Ace, the Sword of Roger sword? His grandson is 11 years old, almost 12, and he has a bounty of 20 million? Garp, screamed Sengoku. Great, what does he want now? It's your fucking family again. What now? Garp asked annoyed. Your grandson has joined the Whitebeard Pirates, he said. He is part of a Yonko's crew now. He is what now? Garp said surprised. To have been recruited by Edward Newgate aka Whitebeard. Luffy must have impressed him a lot. Well, what do you want me to do? Fight him and start a war? Your family is giving me too many gray hairs, Sengoku said furious. And why is Sakasugi unconscious? He annoyed me, Garp said. Boo-ha-ha-ha. So, are they going to increase Luffy's bounty? Not yet, said Sengoku. He hasn't done anything with the Whitebeard Pirates to do that. You and I know those fools will do it soon enough, said Garp. I am proud of him. How can you be proud that he become a criminal? Sengoku asked. He killed a vice admiral. Because he killed his captain, Garp answered. Luffy knows that being a pirate is not a game, and we have killed pirates as well. And if we count the mud over there, innocent civilians, Sengoku went pale at that. So, one less absolute justice marine, will not affect me at all. I am too old for this shit, said Sengoku shaking his head. And as he has jinxed, a marine officer come running. Sir, the Whitebeard Pirates attacked a slaver ship that apparently had the great idea of kidnapping the princess of the Ryugu Kingdom, and after that, Monkey D. Luffy has declared himself the protector of the princess. Definitely too old for this shit, Sengoku said as he sat down. Boo-ha-ha-ha-ha. Garp burst out laughing. Ryugu Kingdom. A few days later, Luffy Pov. It's okay, princess, said Luffy. You're home now, and I promise I will protect you and no one will ever touch again. Thanks, Luffy-sama, said Shirahoshi smiling. Luffy noticed she was blushing cutely. You're welcome, princess, said Luffy. From now on, I am your friend. She then cried a bit but nodded. You said you were going to have your own crew in the future, right? She asked him suddenly. Luffy had a funny feeling that she was going to ask something crazy. In a few years, yes, Luffy asked, not liking very much where this is going. Why? Can I join your crew? She asked suddenly, with starish eyes. Damn, mumbled Marco. You lucky bastard. I don't think your father will want that. Princess, Luffy said honesty. You are an important member of the royal family after all. But I feel useless and trapped in my room, said Shirahoshi. Ever since my mother died, I couldn't even went to her funeral. Like I said, it doesn't depend on me, Luffy said. If I just take you, I will be hated and probably killed. Well, let's see what King Neptune says about it, said Whitebeard. I will convince him, said Shirahoshi. Well, this will be a huge change in the timeline, and Luffy knew it. By being a member of not only the Sun Pirates but also a Whitebeard pirate, Luffy has become more infamous, and his first bounty was already 20 million and he was only 11, almost 12 years old. And now Shirahoshi wanted to be part of his crew. This is a huge change. Well, this is going to be some long years before he sees his original crew. He already had the Sun Pirates tattoo on his left arm and the Whitebeard tattoo on his right arm. Both were symbols of being part of the crews. 2 years later, Luffy Pov wanted dead or alive Monkey D. Luffy. 45 million Barris Devil Fruit. Unknown abilities, deadly in martial arts. In deadly with a sword, he also unknown strange ab. Has been seen using armament Haki, observation Haki and conqueror's Haki. Weapon. Cut-ass ace, previously held by the king of the pirates, Gold D. Roger nickname, Straw Hat crimes, attacking marines as well as killing a vice admiral. Confirmed attacker on Holy Land alongside criminal Monkey D. Dragon. He has killed multiple holy knights and at least one Celestian dragon. Also he is wanted for destroying a home of the same Celestian dragon. Also responsible for attacking a slaver ship and as well as attacking a slaver house and freeing all the slaves. Not a bad second bounty, said Whitebeard. Good job, son. Thanks, Pops, said Luffy. He has grew up in this 2 years and has even more control on his ki and chakra. He also has his own techniques based on Goku's. Using his hands to form pistols, he shoots ki blasts. Sadly he can't do any other element jutsus, as he only had wind release. But the few wind jutsus he had alongside the Rasengan and the most deadliest version, the Rasen Shuriken, are powerful enough to kill someone if he isn't very careful. Suddenly, he felt a familiar presence approaching. The same bastard that killed Ace and the one who joined forces with Blackbeard to kill him and his crew after they finally reached Loguetown. Looks like Sengoku sent his favorite mutt, said Marco sneering at the marine ship. Why would he send an admiral to fight us? Thatch said confused. Does he want to declare war? Because he find out who my father is, Luffy said with seriousness, and the mutt has a hatred for my father that has come to me as well. Just don't kill the mutt, said Whitebeard. I will try, Pops, said Luffy cracking his neck. Whitebeard, surrender the son of dragon and you will be left alone, said the mutt without caring he just threatened a Yonko. Luffy shook his head at the stupidity of the admiral. You have a big mouth for a mass murderer, Luffy said then. While my father helps civilians, you go and murder them all for your absolute justice. You will die, today, the mutt said sneering, ignoring what Luffy said. He jumped and went towards Luffy but he jumped, using gear second and just swapped him away like a fly with armament hockey, sending flying to the nearby island, making him crash on multiple trees. Admiral Sakasuki, screamed all the marines in the marine ship. See you in a few minutes, Pops, said Luffy. He jumped on the water and used water walking to run on the water to go to land and moments later, he dodged a magma punch as he used his flying technique. You will today, devil's son, the mutt screeched. Why don't you shut up and fight, mutt? Luffy said appearing on his face with his teleportation technique and punch him really hard with armament hockey on his stomach. Take all the air from the mutt as he was sent flying and crashing on multiple trees once again. The mutt stood up, spitting blood and looked at Luffy with hatred. You will pay for that, devil, said the mutt. Is that all you can say? Luffy said behind him and before the mutt could do anything, he kicked him very hard in his back sending him flying once again, crashing on multiple trees. Luffy's eyes widened when the mutt stood up again, spitting more blood. The mutt was an admiral for a reason and it was obvious the mutt wasn't going to give up that easy. Luffy had to admit, he was one though bastard, as even when Whitebeard beat the living daylights out of the mutt when he killed Ace, he was still standing like nothing and still fighting. Megao, infernal dog, said the mutt in anger. This fight was already getting boring, so Luffy slowly took out Ace, covered in haki and in one single movement, cut off the entire arm of Sakasuki Akainu. In an instant, a fountain of blood come out of where the arm used to be as the admiral screamed in pain. How the hell can you hit me with haki that easy? He asked furious, still not giving up, even after losing an entire arm. Well, I have better observation haki than you, mutt, said Luffy as he used gear second to punch Akainu in the same way he did to Bellamy when the idiot pissed him off in Caya. He grabbed him by the neck and fly towards the marine ship, that had almost all marines unconscious. He then throw the mud on the ship. Next time, I won't let him live. Luffy then returned to the Moby Marineford. A few days later Garp Pav. How dare you go after my grandson you mutt, Garp said grabbing the one arm Akainu from the neck. Garp, putting him down, Sengoku said. Garp did as told but he greeted his teeth as he did so. Sakasuki Akainu, for attacking a member of a Yonko without orders, you have been demoted to Vice Admiral, Sengoku said with anger in his voice. What? Screeched the mutt. You are demoting me for doing absolute justice. I am doing it because you attack a Yonko, you fool, Sengoku said furious. You're lucky to be alive. We don't know almost anything about Monkey D. Luffy's powers. He was probably toying with you. Didn't you saw he has ace, Sakasuki? Garp said with seriousness. You're lucky it was only one fucking arm you lost. He will get absolute justice, I will make sure of it, Sakasuki said. If you attack Monkey D. Luffy again, I will throw you into impelled down for insubordination, are we clear? And that's if he doesn't send me your head first, Sakasuki just scoffed in anger. And another thing, you will be wearing that sea stone necklace I said otherwise, said Sengoku. Garp eyes widened as he hasn't realized the mutt had that on his neck. This isn't over, growled Sakasuki. Growled all you want, Sakasuki, Sengoku said. You just prove you are truly a mutt. Sengoku then left in anger and Garp following him. He then looked at his grandson new bounty and cited. Wanted dead or alive Monkey D. Luffy 85 million Barris. Devil Fruit. Unknown to date as he hasn't used yet. Abilities. Deadly in martial arts and deadly with a sword. He also has unknown strange abilities not identified to date with any known devil fruit. Has been seen using armament haki, observation haki and conqueror's haki. He is deadly with all three after seeing him fight Admiral Sakasuki Akainu. Weapon. Cutlass Ace, previously held by the King of the Pirates, Gold D. Roger nickname, Straw Hat Crimes, attacking Marines as well as killing the Vice Admiral. Confirmed attacker on Holy Land alongside criminal Monkey D. Dragon. He has killed multiple Holy K Knights and at least one Celestian Dragon. Also he is wanted for destroying the home of the same Celestian Dragon. Also responsible for attacking a slaver ship and as well as attacking a slaver house and freeing all the slaves. Responsible for cutting the arm of Admiral Sakasuki Akainu. Damn, it Luffy, Garp said with sadness. Why couldn't you been a Marine? Same time New World Luffy Pav. You did good, son, said Whitebeard. Killing the Mutt would gain you nothing. I know, Luffy said. But Luffy knows that Mutt will try it again. He may have cut off one of his arms but he can probably create a fake one with his lava. Can't believe you have another bounty, said Marco. It's very high, for a cabin boy. A tick mark appeared on Luffy's forehead. Well, at least I still more hair than you, Pineapple Nissan, Luffy said. She. Damn it, said Marco, you're good. Thanks big brother, Luffy said. So, where are we going? That's a surprise, my son, said Whitebeard. Luffy smiled and nodded. He knew his time as a Whitebeard pirate was coming to an end and soon he will start his adventure. But first, he needs to take care of the scum of East Blue. A few days later. Water 7, Luffy mumbles. That's right, Whitebeard said. It's time for you to get your ship and begin your adventure, my son. Marco passed him the money. Luffy eyes widened with that and smiled. Thanks Pops, said Luffy. Frankie died trying to save the Sunny but the Mutt had burned him alive with the ship. Luffy couldn't avenge as he had died fighting the Mutt. This time, he at least cut off one of his arms and as a bonus, he was demoted. He won't let any of his Nakama die. He will train them himself until they become a very powerful crew. Finally, they arrived at Water 7, where Iceberg welcomed them. Thankfully the government dogs weren't there yet. If he remembers, they were there for 5 years, meaning next year they would be here. Luffy needs to convince Frankie to build his ship and join him, no matter what. Come here for some repairs, Whitebeard? Iceberg asked. No, Whitebeard said, my son wants to start his crew and he needs a ship. Well, what kind do you need? Iceberg asked. Can I ask something first? Luffy asked. Of course, Iceberg answered. Well, I was part of the Sun Pirates and the captain, Tiger Fisher, was part of Roger's crew. Luffy started. I remember he said you and another were apprentices of the one who built Roger's ship. Well, that would be Frankie, said Iceberg. If you want to meet him, I can arrange it but he may not want to see you. Don't worry, I will convince him myself, Luffy smirked, as he already felt him with his key ability and observation haki. You can come out. I known you there. Super. Frankie said, don't know how you knew I was here but I won't listen to you. Well, I was going to give you this money to get Adam Wood, so you could build me a ship that can reach the end of the Grand Line. You're joking, said Frankie. I don't build ships, I destroy them. Oh, well, said Luffy. Guess Iceberg is better than you after all. Luffy winked at Iceberg as he silently chuckled. You super cheater, said Frankie. Fine, I will do it. Good, said Luffy. Then I will stay in Water 7 until you finished and also, I want the best shipwright on my crew. So, how about you join me and help get your ship to the end? I can't do that, Frankie said, can't leave my guys behind. I am sure Iceberg will give them better jobs, Luffy said. Well, just think about it. Well son, I wish you good luck, said Whitebeard, take care. If you need anything, just call me, Whitebeard said. Luffy nodded as his pops go back to the Moby and went away. Somewhere in the distant future multiple pod the war has been going for a few hours. Marines and Whitebeard pirates have been fighting non-stop and Sengoku was getting impatient. The almost retired fleet admiral wanted to end this fast. But he had a feeling in his gut that something bad was going to happen. You know my grandson will come right, Garp said. I warn you about provoking Whitebeard and you know my grandson will come to rescue his little brother. Doesn't matter, said Sengoku but then he heard the screams of terror as well as cheers of the Whitebeard pirates. His eyes widened and almost come out of his sockets when he saw the Thousand Sunny, the ship of the Straw Hat Pirates as well as their fleet composed by 3 of the worst generation, former Baroque agents and at least 2 pirates that were causing trouble in the East Blue a few months ago. I warn you, said Garp, my grandson will make this war bloodier. As the Thousand Sunny got near, a tall young man of 19 could be seen in the distance. He was standing on the head of the lion figure. He was tall, wearing a red vest with a red and black captain's coat and blue shorts. He was wearing sandals. On his right waist was Ace, his sword. His name was Monkey D. Luffy, one of the most dangerous pirates since Gall D. Roger. At his right side, same age as him, was who many consider the most beautiful young woman in the world. Boa Hancock, and although she was taller than him, she was standing proud at his side. She was wearing a red dress and earrings in the shape of snakes. And at the left side of Luffy was a green hair man with 3 swords at his side. He was wearing only a green shirt and black pants with black boots. So, this is war? Zoro asked, curious, cracking his neck. When are we going to destroy them? Hancock asked Luffy, cracking her knuckles. I am a bit thirsty for battle, Captain, said Robin. This is a bit scary, said someone on the crew, but existing. Ready for your orders, Captain, said Sanji. Well, why don't we show them how strong we are? Luffy said. Hancock and Zoro smiled at that. Suddenly, the 3 unleashed their conqueror's haki at the same time, knocking out many of the Marines in an instant. All of them were foaming from their mouths. Others were in their knees. Luffy then looked at his pops. Hello there, pops, said Luff, the party, right? Gurararara. Whitebeard laughed as he watched one of his children appeared with his crew and fleet. Not at all, son. You come just in time. Good, said Luffy, smiling as he looked at Sengoku. The Marines will have to be reminded why they should not mess with a Yonko, right? Whitebeard smirked at his son, who had become even more infamous since leaving the crew. That's the reason of his decision a few months ago and he doesn't regret it. Sengoku hasn't figured it out yet, hasn't he? Not at all, said Whitebeard, not even Kaido or Big Mom knows yet. Only red hair, and that's because you asked him to come. That's good, said Luffy, should we make him have a heart attack? Gurararara, Whitebeard laughed, it's a great occasion to announce to the world, close to Water 7. 1 week later, Hancock Pav. Are you ready, girls? Asked Elder Nyan. Hancock and Robin had gotten impatient and decided it was time to meet Luffy, and they gotten word he was in Water 7. So they forced Elder Nyan to get them there. It was thanks to Whitebeard declaring Amazon Lily as his territory that Hancock was leaving. We are, said Hancock, her sisters and Robin at the same time. We have to show Luffy we are strong as well, said Robin as she looked at Luffy's bounty, 85 million bears in just 3 years. He really is amazingly strong. We are here, said Captain. This is a beautiful place, but there are many men here. And they probably will be drooling when they see me, said Hancock. Now I know what Luffy meant when we meet. But the question still remains, how did you know? Sonia asked. Not that it matters, we own him. You better go own your own from here, said Gloriosa. Well, hello there, beautiful ladies, said a voice Hancock hasn't heard since separating 3 years ago. She looked up and he saw Luffy. He had become very strong, if his haki was that strong just by looking at him. Long time no see. Luffy-kun, said Hancock and Robin as they went to hug him. Pay up, Sonia, said Mari. That make Hancock look at her younger sister. Fine, here is your 1,000 years, she said, annoyed. Wait, what did you beat? Hancock asked. That you and Robin would hug Luffy at the same time and you wouldn't care, said Mari. Hancock blushed a Hinata level, as did Robin. The shy girl, afraid of being betrayed again, was gone. In Amazon Lily she was protected and become another sister to Hancock, and that was the reason they have no problem sharing Luffy. Are you ready for adventure? Luffy asked then. Because our ship is ready and we will start by going to my home island. It's time I visit my little brother and my mother figures. What else? Hancock asked, smirking. Well, we need a navigator, a cook, a helmsman, a doctor, sniper and many more, said Luffy. And I want to recruit some people from East Blue and start building my fleet. A fleet? Sonia asked. What for? With the world government. You never know when you will need some extra help, said Luffy. And if I learned anything from being in the Sun Pirates and later with the Whitebeard Pirates, is that the crew is like your family. Well then, is going to be vice captain? Hancock asked. I think that should be you, Hancock-san, said Robin. I would like to be the archaeologist and second mate. Very well then, said Luffy, Sonia and Mari. You will be officers but would like to be anything else? I can cook, said Sonia. Not perfectly, but I can learn when we have an official cook. I can be in the mast, said Mari. Luffy Pav. Well, let me introduce you to Frankie, our shipwright, Luffy said. A small warning. He is a pervert and you will see why. Who are you calling a pervert? Frankie said, annoyed. I am a super pervert. Luffy sweet droop as he swears he had heard that from somewhere but he didn't know where. Pervert, said Hancock. Hentai, said Robin. Idiot, said Sonia and Mari. Come on, let's go, said Luffy, and Frankie. Behave. Seeing the Sunny make him smile and he will try to get the Mary as well. With Frankie, he can make the ship better and maybe even part of the Sunny. I know a bit of navigation, said Mari. I can take us to East Blue, but after that, we need a better one to navigate on the Grand Line. I know, said Luffy. One of my crewmates who has infiltrated another one as my spy, told me of a girl who is a genius, but I won't force her to join us. Worst with what he told me. What happened? Hancock asked. One of my former crewmates. Arlong has invaded her home island and slaved everyone there. Luffy answered with anger. Luckily, Hachi managed to save her mother before Arlong murdered her by giving her money and explaining who he was truly working with. A fishman slaving humans? Hancock snarled. Is he mad? Sadly, he doesn't realize he is behaving exactly like the Celestian dragons. Luffy spit that with a lot of venom, thinking Fishman are superior when Whitebeard or if Gold D. Roger would crushed him like a bug, and Whitebeard doesn't need his devil fruit to do that. That's true, said Robin smiling. Luffy, we are close to the red line, said Frankie. I will use a coup de burst. We will go very fast, so hold on. If it stops, we need to be fast in putting the soda. What do you mean soda? Asked Hancock. You will see, said Frankie. Here it comes. Frankie, wait. Luffy started, but too late as the ship speed up. Luffy went flying towards Hancock, and to his horror, his head crashed in her and they flew together and landed on the floor, and to add salt to the wound, Robin fall down on him, her touching his back. His heart started to race too fast as stream come out of his ears, and to be worst couldn't exactly breath. You okay, Luffy-kun? Hancock asked him as she shake him. Bad question, sister, Luffy heard Sonya said laughing. First get him out of there. Luffy felt his head come out, but he passed out in an instant, hearing the giggles of all his female crewmates. A few hours later, close to Dawn Island, Luffy was still blushing and was very embarrassed. He really loved Hancock, and he was a fool for trying to suppress those feelings. She could have defended herself without a problem. But after Ace died, he just couldn't let that monster in marine uniform hurt her. I see land, said Mari. When he saw Dawn Island, he smiled, and when he saw Fuchsia Village, he felt home. Maki no Pav, pirates are coming, someone screamed from outside. Is Shanks back? No, he told her he wouldn't return for a few years. That he was busy in the New World, trying to find what Luffy was doing. That was a surprise she will never forget. When the first bounty arrived, the mayor cursed like there was no tomorrow. Ace, on the other hand, had stars on his eyes. Makino chucked at that. Hearing Ace say my big brother is so cool, make her laugh. Dandan, on the other hand, had a face of proudness hidden with her between her typical angry face. Luffy's first bounty of 20 million was basically her favorite treasure. Then the second appeared, 45 million barras. The mayor passed out, foaming coming out from his mouth, and Dandan celebrated until she and her bandits passed out. And when the third one appeared, the whole village celebrated, including a very depressed mayor, even though he had the 3 bounties and all newspapers on his house, in a no-so-secret room. Makino come out running and saw a magnificent ship. Figurehead was that of a lion with a flower. The Jolly Roger was a skull and crossbones with a straw hat. When the ship landed, a young teen of 13 with a familiar straw hat jumped from the figurehead. The teen was tall for his age and had muscles. He also had a scar close to his eye that looked very familiar to her. He was wearing a red vest, blue shorts and sandals. He also had a red captain's coat. Long time no see, Makino One-chan, said the teen as he looked at her with a very familiar smile. Luffy, said Makino as she went to him and hugged him. That attracted the attention of all the villagers. It's Luffy, said one villager. Look how he grow up, said another. It's that his crew, said a male villager. Holy hell, said another, but he received a punch to the head by who could only be his wife and later dragged away. You have grow up, Luffy, said Makino. I am amazed. Thanks, said Luffy. Let me introduce you to my first crewmates. This beauty is Hancock. The girl Hancock blushed a crimson red and smiled at her. This are Sonya and Mari, Hancock's sisters. This is Robin, and finally, this is Frankie. A pleasure to meet you all, said Makino. So, you're his sister figure as well as his mother figure, Hancock said looking at her. Can I get your permission of marrying him? Makino's eyes widened as he looked at Luffy, who was blushing a crimson red, almost to a Hinata level as even steam was coming out of his ears. Me too, said Robin. Smiling at Luffy tud, Makino saw Luffy passed out on the floor and she burst out laughing alongside Big Bro. Said the voice of Portgas d'Ace as he went at fast speed, you're back, and I see you have been busy. Bang, youch, said Ace as he was holding a big bump on his head, courtesy of Luffy. What was that for? Well, I wanted to see if you were ready for my own version of the Fist of Love, said Luffy, making poor Ace's eyes widened with complete horror and making Makino laugh. So, you want to marry Luffy? Makino asked then, making Luffy freeze. Well, I guess we can have a talk. Follow me, ladies. Makino saw Luffy's eyes turn to horror as Hancock and Robin followed her. Oh, man, said Luffy. This is going to be embarrassing somewhere in the East Blue. Luffy Pub, so, what is our first destination? Hancock asked. Well, we could go to where Hachi is, but I feel like we will. Luffy started until he noticed something coming to them. What is that? Robin asked. It looks like an octopus. Octopus, Luffy repeated and knew immediately who it was. He saw his crewmate jump to the sunny. Luffy-san. He said happily, how nice to see you. Luffy noticed that Hachi was worried and tired. Is something wrong, Hachi? Luffy asked with seriousness. Arlong knows you're here, said Hachi, and he isn't happy. What did you told him to come here? Luffy asked him. Actually, he told me to look for Nami, said Hachi, that he needs her to make maps. Luffy clenched his fists hearing that. I know it makes you angry but I help when I can. I know, said Luffy. Just then, he felt someone sneaking in his ship. He smiled, knowing who it was. I found her. Hey, Sonia. Would you mind grabbing our uninvited guest?
Sure thing, she said as she went to where Nami was hiding.
EKKK. Luffy heard Nami screamed. When he looked at her, she was beaten up. Looks like she had a hell of a day. Considering she was only 12, she was one brave kid to steal money from pirates. Especially one with the highest bounty on East Blue right now. You should know better than sneaking on my ship, kiddo, Luffy said. A tick mark appeared on her forehead. Luffy smirked as apparently she didn't like being called a kid like that, but she then looked at Hachi. Hachi, she said instead, what are you doing here? Luffy and Hachi look at each other and sighed. Well, they have been caught together and it was better to explain before Arlong finds out. Hachi is working for me, Luffy answered. He is my crewmate. The name is Monkey D. Luffy. You are Monkey D. Luffy, she said a bit scared. The pirate wanted for 85 million bears. That's right, said Luffy smiling proudly. So, you are the one Hachi works for, said Nami gulping. He said his real captain was not joke but I never thought it was you. I guess that's how you knew my name, Luffy nodded at her. That was true. Hachi told him about Nami and how he barely managed to save her mother from being murdered by Arlong. Calm down, said Luffy. I won't hurt you but I can help you, if you want. Arlong needs to be put down. You can't defeat him, Nami said. He is too strong. She started crying as fall down. Nami, I used to wipe Arlong's ass with the floor every day when I was with the Sun Pirates. Luffy said. He didn't like me and I didn't like him. The only reason we didn't kill each other was because of Tigerfisher, our captain. I won't force you to accept my help but know this. Whatever Arlong promise you, he will not fulfill it. He hates humans and for him, you are nothing more than a tool. Nay, Nami, Luffy is right, Hachi said. Arlong said he was going to rat you out with Kapitan Nezumi as soon as you told him you have the money. I know, said Nami, I always knew he lied to me and was never going to free me. I can give you the money you need, Luffy said, just to let him think you have it. He will suspect, Nami said. I know he will. Luffy then saw Hancock approach her and help her stood up. Nami, right? Hancock asked nicely. Yeah, she said cleaning her tears. I want to talk to you, said Hancock, about something in private. Okay, she said. Luffy saw as Hancock took Nami elsewhere to talk privately. She will tell her about her past, Luffy said. Is that wise? Sonia asked. Talking about it with just anyone can be dangerous? She has her own mark, Hachi said then with sadness, Arlong's mark. Hancock Pav. This is my room, said Hancock as she started to undress. Showing her that horrible mark can have consequences but she needs to know that she isn't the only one with a mark. It looks great, Nami said. What are you doing? I want to show you something, said Hancock, as she turned around and showed her that horrendous mark. That's, Nami started, the hook of the Celestian dragons, Hancock said. I was a slave until 3 years ago. The one who saved me is Luffy and he did it for reasons I don't know until this day but I fell in love with him anyway. He is an amazing person.
I know, said Nami. His offer to help me without even knowing me, makes me realize he is not the typical pirate.
He is not, said Hancock. He attacked the Holy Land for a total stranger. He killed a world noble for strangers. He killed that vice admiral for his captain that was ambushed and he cut off the arm of an admiral because he was provoked. He freed slaves and burned slave houses because that is what he feels right. But I don't know what to do, Nami started crying again. I just can't watch him been killed. He is what, 2 years older than me?
And he is very powerful, Hancock said. A knock make them turn to the door, yes.
It's me, said Robin. Come in, said Hancock. Hello there, Robin said. I wanted to come here to tell you my story. Are you like Hancock? Nami asked curious. No quite, said Robin. My story is much more different. Hancock already knew about it but hearing it again was painful. And then, when I was about to meet capture, Luffy appeared like a hero and rescued me from the Marines. Until this day, just like Hancock, I don't know why. He said it was because it was the right thing to do but I feel like he did it for another reason. You love him too, don't you? Nami asked curious. Both Hancock and Robin blushed a crimson red at those words. We do, they answered, and we already asked permission from his honorable mother to marry him. He kind of passed out for a few minutes because of it. I want his help, Nami said then. I don't even know him but I don't know why but I feel like I can trust him. But first, I want to go adventuring with him. Then go ask him if you can come with us for the time being, Hancock said. Nami nodded and the girls went outside. Luffy was there, trying to see what can they do on the meantime or where they should go. Luffy, can I go adventuring with you? Nami asked. Sure, said Luffy smiling and Hancock saw the 12-year-old blushing at that. So, do you know how to navigate? Nami asked. We do but we aren't experts, Luffy asked. I am looking for the best navigator in the East Blue. Do you know anyone? You are looking at her, said Nami. I am the best one. My dream is to draw the map of the world. My dream is to become an emperor and king of the pirates, Luffy said smiling. Mine is to find the true history of the world, Robin said. Mine is to help Luffy reach Raftel, said Hancock. Ours is to become the strongest warriors, said Sandersonia and Marigold at the same time. So, where are we going, Captain? Nami asked, making Luffy eyes widened. Well, I did ask if I can go adventuring with you and so, you are my captain for now. I guess I am, said Luffy. We are going to the Gecko Islands, to a village called Syrup. There we are going to recruit the son of someone I know. Who? Nami asked curious. Usopp, the son of Yasopp, sniper of the Red Pirates. Luffy answered. Whose captain is Yonko Red Hair Shanks or as like to call him, Tomato Head. Hancock, her sisters, Robin, Frankie and Nami burst out laughing at that nickname. Meanwhile somewhere in the new world Shanks Pav, Aku, sneezed Shanks. You okay, Captain? Yasopp asked him. I am good, Shanks answered, but I have the urge to kill Luffy for some reason. Why would you want to kill Luffy? Ben asked him but he was laughing. I feel like he just called me Tomato Head, Shanks answered. Much to his annoyance and embarrassment, his entire crew burst out laughing close to the Gecko Islands. Syrup Village Usopp Pav he froze when he saw the Straw Hat Jolly Roger. He didn't know who it was but he had a feeling that they were true pirates. Now Usopp wasn't an idiot and knew the villagers wouldn't believe him, he had lied too much. So, he is going to hope these pirates aren't bloodthirsty ones. He told his followers not to follow him, as this were true pirates. He just hoped they don't kill him when they find out he was lying. Just when the ship was about to land, another ship appeared. It was the Black Cats and their captain was Kuro of 1,000 Olans, with a bounty of 16 million bears. But just as the battle begun, it ended very fast. The Black Cats were screaming in terror as their ship was sinking. Whatever happened, the other ship's crew was more powerful and deadly. Usopp changed his mind and decided to ask nicely to not kill them all. Usopp, said a voice behind him. He turned around and saw Caya, his best friend. Her parents have helped him when his mother died and so he has become close to Caya. She even following him and lying for fun, even though they were later Kaya's mother would gave them a talk about why they shouldn't lie. Is that a pirate ship? Kaya's ears changed to those of a wolf. Apparently, she had eaten a devil fruit by accident 2 years ago. It was the Inu Inu no Mi mythical model, White Dire Wolf. She also had the power to freeze things. They are saying that the Black Cats attacked them and their captain, Kuro, was pathetic. Who are these guys? Usopp said then. Kuro was one of the most dangerous pirates in the East Blue. Usopp saw her eyes turn red. He saw her eyes widened. He is Monkey D. Luffy, she said, the kid with a bounty of 85 million bears, Usopp said very scared. That's right, said Caya. Let's see what they want. For what I read, they don't attack civilians. Okay, said Usopp. I hope you know what you're doing, Wolf Girl. Very funny, said Caya. As they were talking, the pirates arrived on the beach and looked at their direction. The one called Monkey D. Luffy looked specially at him. Do you two know a pirate by the name of Usopp? He asked, making him gulped. A few minutes earlier Luffy Pav. Is this the place? Luffy asked Nami. It is, said Nami. Captain, a ship with a Black Cat Jolly Roger is getting close, said Mari. Those are the Black Cats, said Luffy. As we are new pirates, they don't know who is the captain. They will suffer for attacking us, then, said Hancock.
Don't forget pissed themselves, said Robin in a thinking pose, and probably they will die in a horrible way or suffer a crushing defeat while they ask for mercy. Luffy's sweet droop at that. Even when having a different life, she still was Robin.
Rookies, said the familiar voice of Kuro. You are in my territory. Surrender your treasures and women. And maybe, I will let you live. You don't know who I am, do you, kitty cat? Luffy said with a serious tone, making the cannon fodder shivered. So, Mr. Hypnotist, should I tell him or will you do it? Luffy saw Django froze and soil himself instantly as he has recognized who Luffy was. Captain, we need to leave, he said. He is Monkey D. Luffy, bounty of 85 million bears. This brat, Kuro scoffed, don't make me laugh. Captain, don't do it. Luffy heard Django screamed, as knowing what Kuro was going to do. Luffy, seeing the future with his observation haki, saw Kuro jumping with his claws, ready to try to slice him but Luffy was faster. When Kuro jumped, Luffy cut Kuro in two with Ace. The two halves of Kuro went down to the sea, never to be seen again. Captain, screamed the Black Cats, bring it down, said Luffy. Making the Black Cats soil themselves as the cannons of the Sunny were been directed at them. Please no, they screamed but they were ignored. Those guys destroy villages and murder innocent people. It took only seconds for the cannons to destroy the ship and soon it was sinking in the sea. Nami, do you know why I did it? Luffy asked his new friend. They provoke us, Nami answered. Also, they were monsters and if you let them go, then they would have attacked innocent people. Correct, said Luffy. I don't like killing, unless I am provoked. So, are we landing and say hello to our observers? Hancock asked, looking where Usopp and Caya were watching them. Of course, said Luffy, and follow my lead. Let's see how much we can scare them. She. Sometimes I forget he can have his childish moments, he heard Hancock mumbled to herself. Well, he was 14, it wasn't his fault. Present time, do you know a pirate by the name of Usopp? Luffy asked Usopp and Caya. I heard rumors of him having 8,000 men under his command. That would be a challenge, said Hancock. Luffy saw Usopp started to sweat like a pig and Caya looked scared as well. Well, I do have them, said Usopp. I will bring them, after all, I am brave Captain Usopp. You're shaking, Nami said, burst laughing. Well, where are they? Luffy asked. I want to challenge them. Usopp froze and started to sweat even more as Luffy burst out laughing, not able to contain himself anymore. Hancock, her sisters, Robin and Frankie started laughing as well. Nami was already laughing before he started laughing. Why are you laughing? Usopp said, annoyed. I was messing with you, Usopp, son of Yasopp, said Luffy, smiling. Your dad talk about you a lot? Luffy wasn't surprised when Usopp fall down, but his eyes almost pop out when he saw Caya transform into a big white wolf to cut him. Devil fruit. Luffy said, surprised. That was a huge change, considering that he killed Kuro already and he didn't kill her parents and poison her. That's right, said Caya. I eat the Inu no Mi mythical model white dire wolf. A mythical zone? That was amazing. Well, I come to this island to ask Usopp to join my crew, said Luffy, seeing as I need a great shooter in my crew. You want to recruit me? Usopp asked, surprised. Well, to tell you the truth, I've been practicing with the rifle my father sent me a few weeks ago. Rifle. That was another change. Well, much better than a slingshot at least. Can I join too? Caya asked. I want to be a medic and I feel can't accomplish that by staying here. It's fine by me, as long as your parents give you permission, said Luffy. I will ask them, said Caya. And I have the perfect weapon to convince them. She smiled evilly and then left running. She will do the puppy dog eyes, isn't she? Luffy asked Usopp. Yep, said Usopp, sweet drooping. How can that work? Sonya asked. She is a wolf, not a dog. Have you ever seen a dog doing that? Luffy asked. It's impossible to say no. Luffy is right, said Usopp. You have no idea how many times she already did it with me and her parents. It always works. They said yes, said Caya, as long as I train and become stronger. Told you, said Usopp. So, when do we leave? First, let's go eat something, Luffy said. Then we will go and look for a chef. Luffy is happy. The original Straw Hats are coming together. Nami, while not part yet, she is here. Usopp is now part of the Straw Hats and a new one has joined, Caya. Now to find Sanji, Zoro, and if possible, he will convince Kobe. But maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to train them for a few years before they start their journey to the Grand Line, and especially if he wants to try to follow the timeline. Ace was captured when he was 20 and Luffy was 17 back then, but now, Ace is younger than Luffy by 1 year. So, when does everything starts? Does this mean that everything starts when he is 18? That's 4 years from now, and that's how long until he meets Kobe, Zoro, and Sanji. While he could change it, that would leave the Baratie in danger. Shell's Island won't be at the hands of Morgan, but Luffy can't be sure, as the world government could just give Morgan the credit for killing Kuro, and that will make Shell's town suffer once again. Zoro will, it's mystery where he is at the moment. He can't remember when he supposedly left his home island and got lost. Kobe, though, would not be forced to work for that hag of Alvier from now, and as Luffy doesn't know where his island is, well, he can't help him. Luffy, are you okay? Hancock asked him then, putting him back to the present. Yeah, said Luffy. I am just thinking of training Usopp and Caya before we go to the next island, and of course Nami. You're welcome to join. Nami's eyes widened and Luffy saw tears coming out. Thanks Luffy, said Nami, but I have to go back to Arlong. He will get suspicious if I don't return soon. Luffy smiled at her, making her blush. You will always be welcome in my ship, Nami, and remember, if you need me to take care of Arlong, just say the word, Luffy said. Thanks, Luffy, said Nami. Frankie, can you take her to her island? Luffy asked. Do you have any vehicles you can use to take care to her island unseen? Luffy knew about them because Frankie showed him the vehicles. I have the Shark Submerge 3, Frankie answered. That's perfect for this. Good, said Luffy. Hachi is with us, so we will be good. Then we don't have to worry about Momo, the sea cow monster, Nami said casually. Right, he forgot about that annoying cow. Well, Luffy hopes everything will be fine. Nami, here, Luffy said, throwing her a bag with 5 million berries. That will be enough so Arlong doesn't question you what took you so long. Nami's eyes widened when she heard what Luffy said. Luffy was surprised when Nami suddenly hugged him and cried on his shoulder. Thank you, said Nami. Moments later, he saw Frankie and Nami take off to the Konami Islands. You are an amazing person, Luffy-kun, said Hancock, but how many girls are you going to end up with? Luffy blushed a crimson red at those words 4 years later. Somewhere in the East Blue Luffy Pub, it's been 4 years since Luffy come back to East Blue. Since then, he has been training even more and of course, trained Usopp and Caya. He didn't have luck finding Zoro in that time, so we as the timeline follow his course and he didn't screw up anything. He will be in Shellstown. As he had guessed, the credit for defeating Kuro was given to Morgan, who was close by when Luffy took care of him, but as Morgan is a coward, he didn't even mention Luffy at all. Well, time to meet Kobe. This he will take him with him and turn him into his apprentice. In the last timeline, Kobe at some point was brainwashed by the Absolute Justice followers and was the one that killed Nami, and in turn Luffy was the one that put him down. Luffy could see he didn't know what he was doing and there was no way to save him. He won't let him be turned into a drone, and as for the son of Morgan, he heard Kobe killed him as a test to his new way of seeing things. I am seeing a ship attacking a civilian cruiser, said Mari. Your orders, Captain? Let's see who it is, shall we? Luffy said. After all, today we start to conquer the East Blue? Oh, that sounds like a challenge, said Hancock. Besides, I think our dear Nami is having fun robbing whoever is captain of that ship. So, for now the timeline is playing the same way. Nami hasn't asked him for help yet, and Luffy knows is because she thinks Arlong is unbeatable. Well, he will wait until she is ready. The only thing that changed is that they hadn't used Mary, as they had the Sunny with them from the beginning, but Frankie had make it part of the Sunny. It was a ship they can use for emergencies, which was amazing. Get ready to battle, said Luffy as he started to took out Ace, and all the pirates in Alvida's ship froze in an instant. Holy shit, said one. Is Monkey D. Luffy? What the fuck is he doing in the East Blue? Said another. But who cares, every man for themselves. Stop right there, said Alvida, but the crew was still running like headless chickens. Why are you afraid of a brat? This brat has a bounty of 85 million, hag, said Hancock. Alvida was pissed off and Luffy saw as she tried to attack Hancock, but she just kicked her away, sending her flying far away. Well, that was easy, said Luffy, sweet drooping. Alvida's crew froze at what happened. He then felt Kobe with his haki and he had forgotten how weak he was. You, the one with the pink hair. Me? Kobe said, shaking in fear. Well, I am for an apprentice and you are perfect, Luffy said, smiling. Kobe's eyes widened at that and he just went to Luffy. Nami, I know you're there, Luffy said. Come on, we will take you with us if you want. How did you know? Nami asked, annoyed. Well, if you had come to train with us, you would have known, said Sonia. But you decided reject our offer, remember? Mari asked. Yeah, said Nami. I accept your offer of going with you for a while. Luffy knew what was going to happen. Although her chances of stealing the Sunny were very low for her, and besides, she knew Luffy was very strong and probably didn't want to piss him off. Even though Luffy would never hurt her, but it didn't mean he couldn't punish her with what hurt her the most. Money. Luffy chuckled when Nami shivered. So, what's our next destination? Luffy asked. Shellstown, Captain, said Nami. I will take you there, no problem. Did she just call him Captain? Luffy saw Nami blush to crimson red. I mean, Luffy? Then let's go, said Luffy. We have been training for 4 years and my last picture was when I was 14. They could still recognize you if you aren't careful, said Kobe shyly. You are right, said Luffy, as I am the only one with a bounty. I will be wearing this wolf mask and let Hancock-chan here take care of my hat. Hancock blushed a crimson red when Luffy put his hat on her head. Take care of it for me, will you? Luffy said, smiling. Sure thing, Luffy-kun, said Hancock, smiling. A few hours later. Shellstown. The small island where Morgan was ruling with an iron fist and letting his son do whatever he wants. Well, he won't allow him to do it anymore. That corrupted monster had to go to jail. Maybe a beat down will be good. When they landed on Shellstown, Luffy could see the scared faces of everyone, and it wasn't because of Luffy. They had hired the Jolly Roger in the guise of a supplies vessel. Mari, Sonia, Luffy said, help the people. Yes, Captain, said Mari and Sonia. Kobe, you are coming with me to look for Zoro, Luffy said. As he had expected, the people jumped in fear. Told you there was a reason why Morgan arrested him, said Kobe, but Luffy saw the team's face turn to horror when the people jumped even more scared than when Luffy said Zoro. And didn't I tell you not all Marines are good? Luffy said. Come on. I can tell him he is this way. Kobe nodded and then follow him to where Zoro was. Luffy smiled at seeing Zoro. Still in the same position, waiting for Helmeppo promised to free him. He felt little Rika going to Zoro to give him food. She was trying to hide from them but was failing miserably, seeing as Luffy didn't need any of his abilities to see her. Luffy-san, do something, said Kobe, he will kill her. No he won't, said Luffy, I want you to watch this. You will see how some Marines truly act. What do you mean? Kobe asked. Apparently, he still has hope that Marines were not evil. Tell me Kobe, if Marines were good, why don't they stop slavers from kidnapping innocent people? Luffy asked, or let those pigs do whatever they want. Kobe didn't say anything else and just stayed quiet, making Luffy worried about his friend. He hasn't said anything about joining the Marines yet as Luffy has declared him his apprentice. Luffy started to teach Kobe about haki and how to use it. The look of confusion of Kobe's face was the same Luffy made when Rayleigh explained him about haki at the beginning, until he demonstrated by knocking out a big elephant without even touching it. So he decided he is going to use Morgan as an example. Luffy-san, Zoro is probably in a cell. Kobe tried once more to convince Luffy of trying to recruit Zoro. Then who is that? Luffy asked. That's him, said Kobe. Roronoa Zoro, the bounty hunter. Just as last time, Rika raised a ladder, climbed and then went down with a rope and offered Zoro her ice balls. And Zoro, being the protective guy he was, tried to scare her away. That's when Helmeppo arrived and did the same he did last time. Eat the rice balls, spit them out, insult Rika and order the marine to throw her. It was the first time Luffy actually used his devil fruit for something. He normally uses his sword. Gear second for speed in his flying technique. You just stretched, Kobe said surprised. That's because I eat a devil fruit, Luffy said. The next time his bounty appears, the name of the fruit would be there. The Gomu Gomu no Mi. They are real, said Kobe surprised. Very real, Luffy answered as he went to Zoro. Take Rika to her home. Kobe nodded at that but he was still looking at Luffy with confusion. Who are you? Zoro asked. Get out before you get hurt. Luffy removed his mask a bit, so Zoro could see who he was. Zoro's eyes widened completely. You're... Zoro started. But why are you here? I am here to recruit you, said Luffy. You see, I am looking for the best people in East Blue to come with me, so he can conquer the Grand Line. So, what's your dream? To become the best swordman in the world, Zoro answered. Then you have to defeat me and Mihawk, said Luffy. It may not be written in the papers but I am the second best swordman in the world. After I defeated Shanks. That was something that happened when he was still a Whitebeard pirate and the battle was done in secret, so the world government didn't find out. It was done on Fishman Island, 1 month before he left the Whitebeard pirates and his fight with the Magma Mutt. 4 years ago 1 month before Luffy left the Whitebeard pirates. Ryugu Kingdom. So, you want to fight me Shanks? Luffy asked surprised. I want tour of that sword, said Shanks. I want to see why Rayleigh gave it to you. But if I defeat you, I would be the second best swordman in the world, Luffy said. If you defeat me, Anchor, Shanks said laughing. Then bring it on, Tomato Head, Luffy said. A tick mark appeared on Shanks' forehead as all his crew and the Whitebeard pirates burst out laughing. Well, played, Luffy, said Shanks. So, where can we have a spar without the world government knowing? Well, they will find out eventually, said Whitebeard, but you have guts challenging one of my children, Red Hair Brad. Like I said, I want to see if he is worthy of carrying Ace, said Shanks. Even if he loses, I know he will surprise me. So, what are the rules? Luffy asks. Only haki and a sword can be used, Shanks said. Don't think I don't know. What can you do? Very well then, said Luffy, but we need to be careful or we can knock out everyone here. Fight here? Shanks said. Can you give us the permission to fight here, King Neptune? Of course you can, said the king. Luffy-san is more than one of Whitebeard's children. He is my daughter's protector and he is guest of honor. You can fight in the guards' training grounds. As they went to the training grounds, Luffy was thinking what to do. If he fights without holding back, he could kill Shanks by accident and he prefers to hold back a bit. Thankfully, the battle was with a sword and haki only. No holding back, Luffy, said Shanks. I will know if you do. But I will seriously hurt you or even kill you, said Luffy. Much to his annoyance, Shanks burst out laughing. Very funny, Anchor, said Shanks as he took out his sword, Griffin. He could feel the conqueror's haki of Shanks instantly. Luffy smirked. So he wants to fight that way. Very well, Shanks. Luffy started to take out Ace, leaking his conqueror's haki as well. He was controlling it, so no fishman would lose consciousness. May the best swordman wins. And in a fast speed move, Shanks come to him and Luffy block it. The crash alone make the floor crack a bit. Not bad, Anchor, Shanks said. Not bad for an old man with a tomato head, Luffy said smiling. A tick mark appeared on Shanks' forehead as he heard laughter. And so the dance of blades began. Thanks to the sword style of Anakin and the one Luffy created since the day he began training after he woke up in the past, he was blocking and attacking perfectly. The king had put Den Den Mushis around the arena but many had passed out because of the conqueror's haki that was leaking of Luffy and Shanks. The fight lasted 3 hours, with Luffy was not getting tired at all, even though he was using his full haki power, while Shanks started to get tired. Soon enough, he disarmed Shanks and he put Ace on his neck. Holy shit, said Yasopp, Luffy actually did it. He has become worthy of that sword, Ben Beckham said. More than worthy, said Shanks. I suggest you to make everyone think you are the third best swordman for now. The day you feel ready, tell the world and I will confirm it. Okay, said Luffy. End of flashback. You're what now? Kobe said, holding Rika, his eyes almost coming out of his sockets. Second best swordman in the world. Luffy answered. I only use my devil fruit powers when I have to. He was strong in the original timeline, but like many devil fruit users, he got too cocky and he had relayed on his devil fruit and didn't do anything else. That got him the stink eye of Zoro when Luffy got a sword in Wano and didn't even know how to use it. He should have learned how to use a weapon in case he was in a cell of sea stone. That way he would have escaped in Alabasta and not allow that bastard of Crocodile destroyed Vivi's home even more. That make Vivi cry, and he hates when people make his friends cry like that. Especially a girl who fall in love with him and he was too blind to see it. Defeating my future captain sounds like a challenge, said Zoro. Tell you what, after I am freed, I will join you. You do know that little shit isn't going to fulfill his promise, right? Luffy said. Damn that bastard, said Zoro. I will find that blonde bastard and ask him, nicely, where did he put your swords? Luffy said, cracking his knuckles. Think you can hold on until then? Of course, Captain, said Zoro. Luffy will make sure that Zoro is number 1 this time. Luffy will keep his second place and not let anyone else have that title unless he seems worthy, as they went to the bar to eat. And just like last time, they learned the truth about why Zoro was tied up in the cross, and Helmeppo once more said he will kill him just because he was bored. But it wasn't Luffy who punched him, or in this case, kick him where the sun doesn't shine. Hancock was the one who did the deed. Luffy, Usopp and Frankie shuddered while the girls cheered. Damn, that has to hurt. You will pay, said Helmeppo with a high-pitched voice. He quickly left alongside his bodyguards, who were more scared of their captain than the one who kicked their captain's son. Well, I guess we need to go and rescue Zoro, said Luffy, cracking his knuckles. Girls, do you want to join me in kicking this corrupted marine? Well, this could be fun, said Hancock. We will get the ship ready, said Sonya and Mari. It's better if not all of us are seen attacking marines yet, said Usopp. I agree, said Caya. You have the highest bounty in the crew, Luffy. The next one is Robin, and the more of us have bounties, the more they will come after us. Well, that's true, said Luffy. Let's go then, Hancock-chan. Right, said Hancock. Kobe, please wait on the ship, Luffy said. Yes, Captain, said Kobe. Shell's Town, East Blue Luffy Pav. Luffy cracked his knuckles, ready to beat down the corrupt marine and teach why you should never lie. Luffy looked at Hancock and she smiled while nodding. Then she looked at Robin, also smiling and ready to fight. As she already had a bounty, she decided TSHE wanted to fight as well. Her bounty was made of a lie by the old bag of bones ruling with an iron fist and not want anything knowing the truth about who rules the world, Emu. A monster who rules the empty throne and is supposed to be immortal. But according to what Robin read on the Poneglyph at Raftel, it's much worse that, and Luffy knew he had to stop him, but the psychotic fleet admiral, Sakasuki Akainu, stop him before he could free the world, as he had joined hands with Blackbeard. He will kill that toothless bastard and impel down and get rid of those psychopaths before they escape the prison. After a few minutes, they arrived to the yard. So, you're back, Zoro said. I'm going to guess she kicked the bastard in the balls? Yeah, she did, said Luffy. Now, I will go take your swords back. That would be nice, said Zoro. Captain, Hancock, I will go and look for the idiot. I am going to guess he has them, said Luffy. Yeah, he grabbed them when they arrested me, said Zoro, angry. I will wait here then, said Hancock. I will start to break him free. Be careful, said Luffy, giving her a quick kiss, making her blush a crimson red as he went running. Wanting to mess that bastard captain, he used his flying technique and watch how he bullied the idiot marines, who could have easily asked for help by a simple Den Den Mushi call, but decided to let him rule the poor civilians with an iron fist, and the absolute justice jackasses would probably say he was doing a good job and ignore the call for help. Hurry up and show my greatness, said the corrupted marine, and he saw when Helmeppo show up and told him with a high-pitched voice that he was attacked and he wants his attackers executed. My grandpa will love to train you, said Luffy, then as he stepped on very hard the statue, turning it into dust. Making all marines' eyes widened with horror and Morgan become furious, solar flare. Luffy said, making all the marines scream in pain as they covered their eyes. Luffy quickly grabbed the coward and make him show where Zoro's swords were. After Helmeppo show him, he has passed out and he sweet droop. He will definitely give him to his grandpa. This guy was one of the very few marines he respected. And sadly, one become a monster that joined another monster. He saw as the marines went down and were ready to shoot Hancock and Zoro. He jumped through the window and shielded them as the bullet hit him and went back to the marines, who panicked as they barely Luffy passed Zoro's swords to Hancock as Luffy got serious and took off his mask, making the marines soiled themselves and Morgan eyes widened. That's Monkey D. Luffy, one marine scared, a bounty of 85 million bearers. This will make my greatness even better, said Morgan with cockiness, making the other marines look at him like he was crazy. So, Captain, said Zoro, what do you need me to do? Take care of the cannon fodder if they try anything funny, said Luffy. I have to teach this idiot a lesson courtesy of my grandpa, Monkey D. Garp. Luffy cracked his knuckles at that. How dare you little shit, Morgan said as he tried to cut him down, but Luffy just moved and punched him in the face, knocking him out. Well, that was too easy, Luffy said, sweet drooping. Well, anyway, here, give this letter to my grandpa. Helmeppo is in need of a lesson on humility. Luffy shivered alongside some Marines on the base. They obviously were victims of his Monkey D. Garp way of training and his famous fist of love. We will not report you, said a Marine. You free us of Morgan's tyranny, and for that, I thank you. And don't worry, Helmeppo will be given to Vice Admiral Garp. Luffy saw the Marine chuckling evilly. Why is that Marine laughing evilly? Hancock asked. Because he obviously had to protect Helmeppo and hear all the threats about his daddy. Luffy answered. Do you mind if my friend here has a quick meal on the bar and then we leave? Very well, the Marine officer, but after that, leave. We know we don't have a chance against you, but we don't want to report you. Luffy nodded as they went to the bar, where they eat and then quickly left. Nami, surprisingly, was waiting on the sunny. I see you want to go with us for a bit more, Nami-chan, said Hancock. Luffy saw Nami blush to crimson red. Can I? Nami asked. Captain? That surprised Luffy, but he smiled as he nodded. Of course. So, what's our next destination? He asked. Orangetown, she answered. I heard Buggy the Clown is there. Interesting, said Luffy. Well, I did promise Tiger Fisher to say hi to the 2 apprentices of Roger. I hope I don't have to beat the living daylights out of the clown. A few days later, Buggy Pav. Shoot the Buggy ball. Buggy said, smiling evilly. He saw as the cannon fired and multiple houses were destroyed. This was so easy and fun. Hey, big nose, said someone from somewhere. A tick mark appeared on his forehead as he went to see who insulted him, and when he saw the one who did it, he froze as his eyes widened with complete horror. It was Monkey D. Luffy, with a bounty of 85 million berries. He was cabin boy to Tiger Fisher and even avenged him when he was killed, and later joined Whitebeard for 2 years. I heard you have been a bad boy. Who's the brat? Asked Cabal G. Buggy banged him in the head. What was that for, Captain? He is much more powerful than you and me combined. Buggy said, scared shitless. His bounty is much more higher than mine, and he has my former captain's sword, the Cutlass Ace. That's right, said Monkey D. Luffy, your captain would be disgusted with what you are doing now. So, I will give you one chance at redemption. I want to form a fleet and I want you as one of my commanders. Buggy froze at that. He who had a 18 million berries bounty been offered to join the most powerful pirate in the East Blue. And he was right. Roger would have kicked his ass for doing what he was doing, so, what's your choice? He asked again. Buggy was a coward, but to serve someone of this caliber and this time as a fleet commander, it would make him more popular. Very well, said Buggy, I accept. First, you have a map to the Grand Line, said his new captain. Please give it to my navigator here. Go get the map and give it to our new boss, Buggy said. Cabal G nodded as he went to the ship and passed him the map. I want you to leave this town and leave your money to the townspeople, to help the rebuild, his new captain said. Buggy nodded and did what he was asked. He left Orangetown afterwards. He will make his captain's successor the next king of the pirates. A few hours later, the same day, Mayor Pav, don't remember his name. The noises were gone and he went to investigate. The Buggy pirates were gone and there was no trace of them except for a bag full of berries, and not only that, there was a letter that said to put the Jolly Roger on their island that was left with the treasure. It was a skull and bones with a straw hat. The letter said that if they did, they would under the protection of the Straw Hat Pirates, under Monkey D. Luffy, but it was up to him to decide. Are they gone? One villager asked. Yeah, said the mayor, and thanks to another pirate crew. Whatever they did was peacefully, and even left us their Jolly Roger to be under their protection if we wanted to, asking to prepare a small feast if they ever visit. I heard of Monkey D. Luffy, said a villager suddenly. He is a peace-main pirate and only attacks when provoked. Also, he has been freeing slaves. Could it be him? Then we will proudly display it, said the mayor, especially if it's him, somewhere in the East Blue. Seeing the Johnny and Yosaku again, making him sweet droop. How the hell this 2 idiots didn't die years ago, he will never know. But hearing about the Bharati, making him smile. Hold on, Sanji, soon follow your dream once again, and this time, he will make sure Sanji's dream come true. The only bad thing is, that will have to deal with his pervertness, which will annoy him a lot. Luffy was happy that Kobe was training hard. He had improved a lot in just a few days, and while he told Luffy he wanted to be a marine after leaving Shell's town, he also told him he was disgusted by what Morgan did there. He was also hungry. He hopes they arrive soon. Everything okay, dear? Hancock asked him, putting him out of his thoughts. Everything is good, Luffy answered, just a bit hungry. Luffy, there is a marine ship coming close to us, said Usopp. Luffy's eyebrows twitched at hearing that. You, in the name of the Marines, stop right there, said the idiot lieutenant that had his ass kicked by Sanji when he first met him. I am Lieutenant Full Body. Identify yourself and then surrender. I am Monkey D. Luffy, captain of the Straw Hats, Luffy said with proudness. Now, what can I do for you? If Luffy ever had a doubt if a man could scream like a little girl or not, it was proven to him when full body and all the Marines with him screamed with such a high-pitched voice that it was very embarrassing. Now, I am just here to eat in this place. How about I forget you threatened me and I will let you have your date with that beautiful lady? Of course, said full body sweating like a pig. No problem, we will go eat as well. Good, said Luffy. He then was grabbed from each arm by Hancock and Robin, making the lieutenant jaw fall to the floor as they enter the Barati. Luffy was sensing a pervert coming close to them, and that's when Sanji appeared out of thin air and tried to flirt with Hancock. Sadly, he was turned to stone without even needing for Hancock to use her powers. Hancock? As he was looking at Hancock, Luffy was thinking how the hell he knew about Sanji coming close. He was starting to wonder if Naruto and Goku had any friends who were perverts. It wasn't me, said Hancock, confused as well. The pervy cook turned to stone on his own, said Zoro, making the chefs and clients burst out laughing and Sanji becoming normal once more as he looked at Zoro with anger. Poor Kobe spit his juice from his nose as he laughed, making Luffy and Usopp burst out laughing while the girls were giggling. Who are you calling pervy cook, Marimo? He said, furious as he crashed heads with Zoro, just as Luffy remembers. Those two idiots started their brotherhood of idiocy. Luffy's eyes widened when he saw Reiju hit Sanji in the head with a frying pan of all things. That make him winced at that phantom pain in the head as he remembers that happened to a friend of Naruto. The lazy genius aka Narashikamaru. Come here, you pervert, she said, angry as she dragged him away by the ear. Well, Luffy is seeing another change in the timeline. Reiju escaped with Sanji. Wait, sister, there are pretty ladies I need to feed, Sanji said with anime tears. Well, you can leave them to me, said Reiju, even more angry. That guy is going to kill you otherwise. He is Monkey D. Luffy and is better if you don't mess with his girls. Are you here to cause trouble? Asked the head chef, Zeph. Luffy remembers him very well. No, I am here to eat and I am also looking for the best cooks, said Luffy. Hearing that, both Sanji and Reiju look at him. Luffy smirked as he winked at Zeph, who chuckled, as understanding what Luffy was about to do. So, can you bring me your best food? I have money. But of course, said Zeph, bring him food, you two morons. But Zeph, said Sanji, and just like that, he was hit again by Reiju. Come on, you pervert, said Reiju as she dragged him away to the kitchen. He then felt someone approaching with his haki. But how the hell he got out? He saw the lieutenant eating and avoiding doing something stupid. Full body, said Luffy with seriousness. Yes, he said, a bit scared. Please tell me you weren't stupid enough to leave a prisoner in your ship, Luffy said. Before the lieutenant could answer, a marine entered just like last time but got shot moments later by Jin. He looked like shit. Luffy sighed as he took pity on him. He called the chef that was about to beat him, told him to give him food and that he will pay later. Very well, said the chef. Why would you do that? Nami asked. Because nobody deserves to starve, said Luffy. I wouldn't wish that even to my worst enemy. Very well, said the other chef. Thank you, said Jin. Luffy could guess he didn't want to piss off someone with a bounty of 85 million bears by telling him he didn't want charity or whatever he was thinking. So, let me guess, you went to the Grand Line unprepared? Luffy asked nicely. How would you know that? Jin asked as he was eating. Because I have been on the Grand Line for at least 3 years, Luffy answered, since I was 11 years old. If you don't have a certain instrument, you will just become one more in the pirate cemetery, or as others call them, me included, paradise. What? Why is it called like that? Nami asked, confused. Because the other half of the Grand Line, called the New World, is hell compared to first half of the Grand Line. Luffy answered. And Jin, if you are thinking what I know you're thinking, tell him who is here. Jin gulped and nodded as he left the restaurant. He will bring his boss, isn't he? Zoro asked, curious. Correct, said Luffy, but he is a weakling that I wouldn't even need my devil fruit powers to defeat him. He relies too much on his equipment and weapons. You will see when he comes. Luffy, you have to consider you were part of the Sun Pirates and then a Yonko crew, said Hancock. I guess you were right, said Luffy. He almost face-palmed himself for what he said. He wasn't supposed to know that information about Krieg. Anyway, just be ready to protect this place. 2 days later, Luffy felt him with his haki. Mihawk was coming and he had a bad feeling. While he told Zoro he had to defeat him and Mihawk, that didn't mean that the warlord would not challenge him. And Luffy is very sure he can kick his ass. That's the Krieg pirates ship, screamed someone. What are they doing here? Said another. Wait, that ship looks like it's been through hell. Moments later, Jin entered with Krieg. Damn, he was so weak that it was embarrassing. Even Jin was more stronger. He saw as they begged for food and Luffy could see Jin wasn't foolish enough to ask him for anything. And just like last time, Sanji was the one that gave him food. But Luffy interrupted when Krieg attacked him. No, so fast, said Luffy as he grabbed Krieg's fist. Who the hell are you, brat? Screeched Krieg. Monkey D. Luffy, answered Luffy. Krieg backed down immediately. What is a member of a Yonko doing here? Krieg asked, and Luffy knew he was afraid. I am not a member of the Whitebeard pirates anymore, Luffy answered. I have formed a new crew. The Straw Hats? Luffy saw Krieg smiling at that, as if Luffy was untouchable only because he was in the Whitebeard pirates. Then you are free to kill, said Krieg as he took out his guns, but before he could even fire, Luffy put his fist on Krieg's stomach and he was sent flying, crashing through the door and outside at the restaurant. Sorry about that, Luffy said to Zeph as he took out some money. Here, this is for the food and any damage we may cause getting rid of the trash. Zoro, try not to die. Mihawk is coming here. What? Zoro said, surprised. Remember what I told you, said Luffy. Usopp, try to practice your shooting with the Krieg pirates. Caya, this is a good place to see how much you learned in the 4 years of training. Kobe, watch them fight and see what can you learn. Yes, Captain, Usopp and Caya said at the same time. Yes, Captain, said Kobe. Frankie, move the Sunny, we don't want any damages, said Luffy. Right away, said Frankie. We will help Usopp and Caya, said Mari and Sonia. I will go with Frankie, sighed Luffy. Hancock, you're coming with me. There is something we need to do. Of course, said Hancock. Luffy and Hancock then went to the Mary and saw as Nami was trying to bring it down but couldn't. Nami, said Luffy, making her freeze, you know how strong I am. I can even call Jimby, so he can take care of Arlong. I have to try my way, she said, as started to cry. Luffy saw as Hancock hug her and console her. We know, said Hancock, but he is going to betray you. That's how he is. Look, just be careful, said Luffy. We will take care of this losers and will come to help you. But he is too strong, Nami said, crying. I can't lose you to him. I almost lose my mother and is only thanks to Hachi she is alive, even if is in a wheelchair. When Hachi told him that, he cursed a lot but there was nothing he could do. His original plan to go to the Konami Islands went down the hill when Nami infiltrated his ship. Hancock, still hugging her, comforted her. Luffy is far stronger than him, Nami, said Hancock. He was part of the same pirate crew Arlong was part of and later he went with Whitebeard. He has a bounty of 85 million for a reason and Arlong only of 20 million. And we know why he has that low bounty, Luffy said. If the Marines knew, he would have a bounty of 40 million, if no more. Nami, hide your money and marry if you can, said Luffy. We both know the corrupted Marine will be sent by Arlong. I have a better idea, said Hancock. One of my sisters could come with her. Luffy saw Nami shaking her head, scared. Do you trust us, Nami? Luffy asked. Of course, Nami answered, still crying. Then trust us to help you be free, said Luffy, because I promise I will help you. The moment you ask, I will beat the living daylights out of Arlong. Much to his shock, Nami fall down to her knees. Hancock, kneel with her and hug her again. Luffy, please help me, Nami said, while crying. Luffy took out his hat and put it on Nami's head as she looked at Luffy. Her eyes widened with surprise, while Hancock was smiling. Of course I will, Luffy answered with determination. I will free you and teach Arlong a lesson he will never forget. Luffy, we have a situation, said Usopp. Zoro foolishly challenged Mihawk. For fuck's sakes, said Luffy, annoyed, not even warning him he listens, but Luffy smiled internally. There was a reason why Zoro was vice captain in the original timeline. He becomes strong because of his defeat here. He would have make him vice captain, but Hancock is far stronger, the second to him. Zoro will become stronger as time passes, but reaching Haki level of Hancock will he hard and he unlocks Conqueror's Haki on Wano. Let him fight, but I will go just in case. Nami, do you have to go? I do, said Nami. He will find it suspicious otherwise. Remember Hachi is with us, said Luffy. Be careful. I know, said Nami. Thank you, Captain. Much to Luffy's surprise, Nami kissed him on the cheek, making him blush, while Usopp snickered and Hancock giggled. At the end, it was decided that Sonia and Mari will go with Nami in case anything happens. Barati, East Blue. Luffy paused as Luffy saw Nami and Sonia go towards the Konami Islands. Luffy went back as he had a feeling he will end up fighting Mihawk. Knowing Shanks, he would have opened his mouth about Luffy being the second best swordman. Luffy then felt something wrong. Mihawk wasn't going to let Zoro live. That son of bitch was challenging him. Gear second, Luffy said as he took out Ace covered in Haki and blocked Mihawk's deadly attack before it touches Zoro. Don't you dare hurt my Nakama. He unleashed his Conqueror's Haki, making a lot of the Krieg pirates passed out as well as some of the chefs. You really are the second best, as Red Hair told me, Mihawk said, smiling. I knew you will come to stop my attack. After all, your Haki is impressive. Luffy blocked another strike as sparks were coming out, and soon it was a full battle between the world best swordman and second best swordman in the world. Luffy was unleashing his Conqueror's Haki with each strike. Luffy then looked at Zoro. I am sorry, Zoro, for interrupting your fight, Luffy said, but I couldn't let my Nakama die. Don't worry, Luffy, said Zoro. Thanks for letting me get another chance at achieving my dream. No problem, said Luffy as he looked at Mihawk. I have no desire to continuing the fight. I am fine being the second best swordman. Very well, said Mihawk as he jumped off to his ship and then disappeared seconds later. That was amazing, said Zeph. Is not every day you see someone fight with Dracula Mihawk like that. Thanks, said Luffy. You okay, Zoro? I am good, thanks, Zoro answered. I am a bit tired. He was going to kill me, wasn't he? He knew I would stop it, Luffy answered. He felt me with his haki. You bastard, said Krieg. Luffy looked at him. He was bleeding, wet, and his armor was destroyed. I will kill yo. Luffy just elbow him in the stomach. He spit blood and then fall down, like Riku. Luffy recently realized that Anakin, Goku and Naruto also gave him their memories. Anakin's childhood was sad, then the Clone Wars, but he was horrified with what Anakin did on the Jedi Temple, but he was glad he redeemed himself years later. The memories of Naruto's childhood were sad, but he saw how he transformed from a clown to a hero, although he was a shitty father and husband. And his son was. While he prefers to erase that, Goku had something in common with him. Both of them live in the mountains, although Luffy at least had someone with him. He saw how he transformed from the monkey boy in the mountain to the great hero of his earth, although he saw he had something in common with both Naruto and Goku. They both had annoying perverts in their lives. Roshi and Jiraiya. Although they were their teachers, they were worse perverts than Sanji. Although Naruto wasn't any better with his pervert jutsu than he could use, but he would be killed instantly by his female crewmates. He shivered if they ever found out. Sorry, I thought you drowned, Luffy said annoyed, so sorry for interrupting your useless threat. He defeated Krieg instantly, said a Krieg pirate sweating like a pig. We are doomed, said another as he fall down to his butt. Leave, said Luffy unleashing a bit of Conqueror's haki, unless you want another beat down. Krieg pirates quickly run away with a small ship given to them by the chefs. Only one remained, Jin. Luffy raised an eyebrow at that. I want to serve someone strong, he said then you can become one of my fleet commanders, Luffy said. Just remember, killing civilians, plundering towns and stealing from them is not allowed. Unless the Marines provoke, you won't attack them. Kill them only if necessary. Our true enemies are the absolute justice Marine followers, world nobles, Big Mom and Kaido. Of course, Captain, said Jin, I will create a crew you will be proud of. Good, said Luffy. He then looked at Sanji and Reiju. I want you two in my crew. You're strong and you are masters for cooking? Reiju blushed a crimson red while Sanji raised his head in pride. I won't force you, but I have a feeling you have dreams you won't follow. So, you're welcome to join my crew. But we are nobodies compared to you, said Renju. You already have a bounty and you are powerful. Besides, we can't leave Zeph, Sanji said. Just leaves, you brats, said Zeph. I don't need you here, you are horrible cooks. And here we go. Luffy saw both siblings started to scream at Zeph in anger. At the end, both siblings end up joining, having the same dream. Find the all blue. So, we go to the Konami Islands, Captain? Usopp asked, recharging his rifle. Of course, said Luffy. I have to beat the living daylights out of a certain fishman. He warned Arlong what would happen if he went to the East Blue, and he did it anyways. Well, Luffy will make sure Arlong knows he wasn't lying about teaching him a lesson. A few days later, Kokoyashi Village, Konami Islands. Look at that, Luffy, said Hancock, Marines in the village. I can feel their intentions aren't good. I know, said Luffy, cracking his knuckles. Take the ones on the ship, but don't kill them and look for evidence of corruption. I will send it to my grandfather. He will take care of whoever is captain of that ship. His crewmates nodded and went to the marine ship. Screams were heard and then silence. Luffy then started walking on Nami's village. The villagers' eyes widened but were confused when Luffy didn't do anything and just continued walking until he reached where the other marines were, alongside the corrupted rat. When he heard a gunshot, he used gear second in his hand covered in armament haki to stop the bullet, shooting civilians. If my grandpa had seen that, he would have break your bones until you had asked for mercy, Luffy sneered, making the marines gulp, but the rat, even when shaking, look at him. How dare you? He screeched, kill him. The others marines didn't move. I said, kill. Luffy had enough and used a blast of Conqueror's haki to knock out all of them. Luffy, said Nami, hugging him, thank you, I promise I was going to come, said Luffy. And I am here. Besides, Sonia and Mari were about to kill them. That's true, Captain, said Sonia, while Mari nodded. Luffy could feel the fury in them when the marines shoot at a civilian. After they tied up all the marines, Luffy put a serious expression. Now, show me where is that fucker, said Luffy, cracking his knuckles. Arlong Park. A few minutes later, Luffy saw the doors and with a single punch with armament haki, he blew them up, crushing some fishman with the rubble. Who dares? Arlong started but couldn't finish when he saw Luffy. Oh, shit, said Chu, gulping in fear. Fucking shit, said Karubi, sweating like a pig. You do remember what I told you if I caught you in the East Blue, right Arlong? Luffy said, unleashing his conqueror's haki, knocking out all fishmen except Arlong, Chu, Karubi and Hachi, who looked at Luffy and nodded without the other fishman noticing. He told him he was coming and asked him to fight Zoro, so he can test him. Monkey D. Luffy, snarled Arlong. I will kill you slowly in pain. He didn't finish, as Luffy punched him in the jaw, breaking it and sending him to the wall almost unconscious. Usopp, fight Big Lips, Luffy said. Sanji, fight the Ray Fishman. Zoro, fight the remaining one. Kobe, as always, watch and raid you. If one of the fishmen IKNCOK out wakes up, knock them out again. Yes, Captain, said the 5 of them at the same time, and 3 went to fight their respective fights and 2 to watch. Now, why don't you stand up, said Luffy. Let's see if you have trainer you have sitting on that chair for all these years, shall we? Arlong stood up but barely. Luffy could feel his anger. I will kill you, said Arlong as he went at fast speed, but Luffy dodged it and kicked him away as he crashed on the building called Arlong Park, just on Nami's room. Luffy used his flying technique and entered the room. So, this is where you imprisoned Nami, Luffy said, furious. You are behaving just like those Celestian pigs you hate. Don't you realize that? Do you know what is going to King find out? Or worst, if Whitebeard finds out? Arlong snarled and grabbed his sword, ignoring what Luffy said. Shut up, screeched Arlong as he tried to attack Luffy, but he just dodged and punched him really hard on the stomach. Luffy saw as Arlong spit blood and fall down to his knees, barely breathing. Gomu Gomu no. Luffy started as he stretched his leg until it went through the roof, battle axe. He bring it down at high speed, putting his feet on Arlong's back, breaking it as he went down through all the floors at high speed and bring down the whole building down at the same time. Luffy got out of the rubble without even a scratch. Luffy, said Nami as he went to hug him, and he hugged her back. Luffy saw as Chu and Karubi were unconscious while Zoro and Hachi were shaking hands. It was an honor fighting such a great swordsman, Hachi said. I bet you will become even stronger when Luffy starts training you. Thanks, said Zoro. He then felt Jinbe's presence and he noticed he was coming with pure fury in his eyes. Where is he, Luffy-kun? He asked in anger. Over there, Jinbe-san, said Luffy as he showed him the unconscious Arlong, who was tied up in chains. Luffy saw as Jinbe slap Arlong, walking him up. How dar? Arlong started, but he froze when he saw Jinbe. Hello, Arlong, Jinbe said. I see Luffy was right about you. Now, as I am a warlord, I will bring you with me to Fishman Island and let the king deal with you. He nodded to the Sun Pirates as they grabbed Arlong and the rest of his crew. Don't you worry, he will face the highest penalty. What's that supposed to mean? Nami asked. Calm down, Nami, said Bellemere. Luffy was saddened when he saw her in the wheelchair. Thankfully, he had a genius shipwright that can invent anything. If I know anything, I know he will get what he deserves. Bellemere-san, Luffy said, if you like, I can tell my shipwright to build something to help you walk again. Nami's eyes widened at that and Luffy saw tears coming out, and the same with Najiko's eyes. I don't think he can fix my spine, Luffy-san, said Bellemere. He was in an accident, Luffy said, and let's just say he rebuilt himself, or that's what he told me. That's right, said Frankie. I can invent something that will help you. Thank you, Luffy, said Nami. Anything to make my navigator smile, said Luffy. East Blue, close to Longtown. 2 weeks later, Luffy, I see the ship of a world noble on the distance, said Mari, growling in anger and disgust. Luffy was looking at it and he felt 2 familiar people in there. But that's impossible. Celestian dragons wouldn't be that stupid to kidnap the daughter of the most psychopathic woman in the world, right? And the other? Would Smoker really let that happen? Luffy had a lot of respect for him, so why would he let this happen? Those bastards won't let us go that easy, said Hancock. They will probably are here because of us. If the pig thinks I will kneel to him and kiss his ass, he is very mistaken, said Luffy. For what I can feel with my observation haki, he is unprotected. The fool didn't bring extra security. Hancock smirked as she cracked her knuckles. So, are me and my sisters free to kill that disgusting pig? Hancock asked with a. We will have to leave no evidence, said Luffy, and by that I mean no survivors except for the slaves that we are going to free. Soon, the Sunny was stopped by the world noble ship. He said, you are going to surrender your women and I will think letting you live. How about no, pig? Luffy answered, unleashing his conqueror's haki, making the celestial dragon empty his bowels in an instant. You should know, I hate you pigs, but my beautiful vice captain and her sisters hates you even more. Yo, you da. Said Celestian Dragon, shaking in total fear. Kill them. Luffy swiped his fingers as Usopp shoot down some of the guards, while Zoro cuts some into pieces. Kobe punched others with armament haki and Sanji alongside his sister kicked the others away. Luffy has been training them for 2 weeks, while the girls trained Nami and Reiju. After a few minutes, all guards were dead and the Celestian Dragon had pissed himself as well. It's time for you to go straight to hell, said Luffy as Hancock and her sisters started to beat the Celestian Dragon to death. Now, Free all the slaves but be careful. Look for the key first if they have collars. His crew nodded and they all went to free all the slaves on the ship. Luffy quickly took out all the collars of the slaves close to him as though they were smiling happily at seeing that monster been killed. Luffy, you may want to come to see this, said Zoro in a worried tone. And afterwards, come as well, said Sanji. Reiju looked worried. Luffy nodded and went to first to Zoro. And just like he feared, it was Tashigi. But why was she here? To be worst. Her clothes were rags and had a lot of bruises. Luffy could feel the killing intent of Zoro. You are pirates, she said with sadness, come here to make fun of me? A marine turned into a slave because she dared to be in Swordwoman? Why would we do that? Zoro asked. Luffy knew he was annoyed because she looked like Kuina, his childhood crush who died on an accident, and Tashigi saying that making even angrier. Because I was captured by that monster because I said I was a swordwoman, she said weakly. He said women are useless and weak for fighting and I didn't deserve to have a nice sword. I knew I have no choice but give him my sword. I mean, first was a marine and I didn't have a choice. Smoker. Luffy's eyes widened when she spat the name with such disgust, told me it was the right thing to do, but everything changed when that pig told I was to become his slave. You refuse, didn't you? Luffy asked. I did, Tashigi answered. But Smoker told me I had no choice. Smoker gave her up. But why? There were few marines he respected. One of them was Smoker. But now, he become just like all those who kiss the asses of these pigs. Was I really not worth anything to the marines? Maybe I wasn't meant to be a swordwoman? Shut up, said Zoro furious. You can be anything you want. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Join my crew, said Luffy. You can train with Zoro and become stronger and prove everyone that a woman can be an excellent with a sword. Tashigi started crying as Zoro hugged her as he consoled her. During the 2 weeks of training, Hancock and her sisters told the rest of the crew that they were former slaves that Luffy saved, and so Zoro knew the horror Tashigi could have gone through in the few weeks in this ship. A pirate saved me, said Tashigi, while the marines sold me to this creature. I join you but I won't attack innocent people. We never attack innocent civilians, said Luffy. I am a peace-made pirate. I only attack when provoked, like now. Zoro, stay with her and help her get better clothes. Of course, he said. Luffy then went to where Sanji was, and once again, just like he feared, it was Charlotte Pudding he felt, which was much worse than Tashigi. Why? Because her mother was one of the most crazy psychopaths in the world. Who is she? Sanji asked. She is beautiful. Pudding blushed a crimson red. Don't lie, I am horrible, said Pudding. I have 3 eyes. Luffy saw as she showed them her third eye. That didn't have an effect on Sanji. Well, I think you and your third eye are beautiful, said Sanji. What's your name? That makes steam come out of Pudding's ears as she blushed a crimson red. Charlotte Pudding, she answered, blushing and trying to hide. Oh, fuck, said Luffy, pretending not to know who she was. That's not good. Not all. Why is a daughter of Big Mom doing on a ship of a Celestian dragon? I was kidnapped by slavers, she answered, and then sold to this monster. This slavers must had a dead wish, said Luffy. I have to make an urgent call. Sanji, take her to our ship but make sure she isn't close to mirrors until I talk to my pops, and by that I mean Whitebeard. But why mirrors? Sanji asked confused. Because of my sister, Charlotte Brûlé. Pudding answered, she has the power to travel between mirrors and she may think you kidnapped me. That's right, so please no mirror, said Luffy. He then went running to his room and took out the special snail that couldn't be traced or intercepted by the marines. Puru. 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 Puru Kacha. This is Second Commander Marco. Who is calling? Marco asked. Luffy smiled as Marco was probably distracted and wasn't seeing the snail. Hello, Pineapple Nissan, said Luffy. Luffy, said Marco, and how many times I told you not to call me that? Sorry, I just couldn't stop myself, said Luffy. She. Very funny, said Marco as Luffy heard the other Whitebeard pirates burst out laughing. Anyway, is Pops there? Luffy asked in a serious tone. After a few seconds, the snail changed to Whitebeard disguise. I am here, son. Something wrong? He asked. Yeah, said Luffy. We were intercepted by a noble's ship. We are fine, as we defended ourselves and free the slaves, but one of them is one of her children. That's not good, Whitebeard said in a serious tone. Not at all. Any suggestions? Luffy asked. Lin is a psychopath, son, said Whitebeard, and she is extremely powerful and quick to violence. Even more than that mud you defeated. Oh, Luffy knows how powerful that old hag is. He knows very well, considering it took Law and Kid working together to defeat that crazy bitch. If for some miracle you manage to defeat her as she attacks you, then you will probably be named a Yonko if the marines don't send a buster call on you. I don't think I am ready to be a Yonko yet, said Luffy. A Yonko out of New World would be hard. Son, you deserved to be a Yonko, said Whitebeard. I know you are more powerful than you let everyone think. That's why I recruit you. Luffy was honored to be told that by Whitebeard. Anyway, just ask her what she wants. Lin can be one cruel bitch and a difference of me. She won't win the Parent of the Year award, Guararara. I will ask her and I be careful, said Luffy. The snail went silent and then went outside. Did I just heard Sanji saying something about a Charlotte pudding? Hancock asked. You did, said Luffy, cover every single mirror until we can figure what to do. I am going to guess someone with a devil fruit can do something with mirrors, Hancock asked Luffy. According to Pudding, one of her sisters, Luffy answered. We covered TS, Sanji said then, she is really scared. I figured, said Luffy, for our own safety, is better if talk to her now, Sanji. Big Mom is someone I don't want to mess with at the moment and neither you. Nami and Zoro are ready. Trust me on that. While Usopp and Caya had trained with me and Hancock, they aren't ready to fight her children either, who are monsters. And we have Tashigi, who needs support and not a fight with a Yonko. Just be nice, said Sanji. Luffy nodded and went towards Pudding. Before Luffy could say anything, Pudding went to her knees as he looked at him. Please don't send me back, she said, I don't want to go back to her. Pudding, it's not that easy, said Luffy, if she finds out, she will attack my crew. Please, she said while crying. Luffy could feel her desperate pleading. It wasn't like when she lied to them and sent them on a trap on Whole Cake Island. This was a call for help on not getting back to Big Mom. Well, I don't know how can we do it, said Luffy. We could try to fake you're dead but the question is how. We will think of something, said Hancock, but if she doesn't want to go back, we can't force her. Luffy then felt danger but as he looked at the covered mirror, no one was coming out. Pudding, can your sister hear what's going on the other side? Luffy asked, even if the mirror is covered? I don't know, Pudding answered. Uncover the mirror, said a familiar voice. Charlotte Katakuri. One of the most powerful sons of Big Mom. Just great. Katakuri Ni-san. Gulped Pudding in fear. Sanji, do it, said Luffy. We have no other choice. Sanji nodded as he put out the sheets and there he was. Charlotte Katakuri and Charlotte Brûlé. We will help, said Brûlé. I understand why she wants to run away. Mother is a horrible person. Luffy couldn't feel deception from her. As loyal as I am to Mother, we are just pawns for her, said Katakuri. But be warned if something happens to my sister, I will hunt you down, are we clear? Of course, said Luffy. But why? I mean, aren't you loyal to your mother? Mother doesn't care about us, said Brûlé, to her. We are just tools and nothing more. We will tell Mother that we found Pudding's body burned beyond recognition on the ship of the World Noble and as retaliation, we killed the noble and all the guards. We only knew it was her because of her eye. Thanks you, said Pudding crying. Take care, sister, said Brûlé, and become strong. Luffy saw both siblings disappeared long down. Luffy paused seeing the place where Gold D. Roger was born and died once again, make him smile but remembering about Tashigi, he felt anger and disgust towards Smoker. In the previous timeline, she was like a daughter to that man. So why? He stops pirates but Smoker just give Tashigi like she was not even important to him. Zoro, you need new swords, Luffy said, use what we got from the pig. I know a place, said Tashigi. I will show and help you pick up some good swords. It's the least I can do. She was still traumatized and Luffy couldn't blame her. Thankfully, her sword was on the ship, like it was a price taken by that ugly bastard. Why are you raising prices again? Nami complained. Same old Nami. Always about the money. Just pay the bird, said Luffy. We have more than enough and I know we will get even more. Remember we technically are peace main pirates and we don't care much about treasure, unless it's free for the taking. Holy shit, said Nami. That's a very high bounty, and looks like Hancock, Usopp and Caya has it as well. Wanted dead or alive Monkey D. Luffy nickname, Straw Hat. Crew. Straw Hat Pirates position, Captain 150 million Barris. Devil Fruit. Gomu Gomu no Mi abilities, deadly in martial arts. A ND deadly with a sword. He also has unknown strange abilities not identified to date with any known devil fruit. Has been seen using armament haki, observation haki and conqueror's haki. He is deadly with all three after seeing him fight Admiral Sakasuki Akainu. Weapon. Cutlass Ace, previously held by the King of the Pirates, Gold D. Roger Crimes, attacking Marines as
well as killing a Vice Admiral. Confirmed attacker on Holy Land alongside criminal Monkey D. Dragon. He has killed multiple Holy Knights and at least one Celestian Dragon. Also he is wanted for destroying a home of the same Celestian Dragon. Also responsible for attacking a slaver ship and as well as attacking a slaver house and freeing all the slaves. Responsible for cutting the arm of Admiral Sakasuki Akainu. He has taken down Buggy, Krieg, Kuro and Arlong. Wanted. Dead or alive. Boa Hancock. Crew. Straw Hat Pirates.
Position. Vice Captain 75 million Barris Devil Fruit. Mero Mero no Mi. Can turn anyone that lust for her into stone.
Nickname. None for now. Abilities. Deadly with hockey.
Crimes. Bringing down Captain Morgan and Pirate Alvida. Help in the fall of Buggy, Kuro, Krieg and Arlong. Wanted dead or alive Nico Robin crew, Straw Hats pirates. Position: unknown 85 million Barris Devil Fruit, Hana Hana no Mi. Nickname: Devil Child Crimes, destroying Navy warships and helping in the fall of Buggy, Kuro, Krieg and Arlong. Wanted dead or alive Usopp crew, Straw Hat pirates. Position: Sniper 45 million Barris. Nickname: Sniper King. Deadly with guns, can use observation hockey and armament hockey. Weapon: sniper rifle and pistols. Crimes: helping in the fall of Buggy, Krieg and Arlong. Wanted dead or alive Caya crew, Straw Hat pirates.
Position: Dr. 40 million Barris. Nickname: Ice Wolf.
Devil Fruit. Inu Inu no Mi model. White Direwolf deadly with hockey and her Devil Fruit also gave her ability of using ice. Crimes: helping in the fall of Buggy, Krieg and Arlong. Those are high bounties, said Luffy. We will need to be careful in Loguetown, and they probably didn't know they kill a Celestian dragon yet. Although the Big Mom pirates will say it was them. The truth will come one day, hopefully, more than a few years from now, and better if it's after the War of the Best. I see Loguetown, said Mari. Soon they landed and Luffy looked at his crew. Well, let's get food and supplies, said Luffy. Nami, I want you to buy a log post, just in case the one I have breaks.
You got it, Captain, said Nami. We better not be seen. She jumped off and went to town.
Mari, Sonia, Robin, Usopp, Caya, Pudding, Luffy said, stay and protect the ship. It's specially dangerous for you to be recognized as a daughter of that crazy woman.
Yes, Captain, they all said. Luffy knew it was better this way. If everyone go, the Marines can capture them more easy.
Captain, I will take Zoro to get his swords, said Tashigi, but she was holding her sword with a lot of anger, and later, I want to ask him why. Luffy knew she said that with a lot of venom. Wait, that is too dangerous, Zoro said, surprising even Luffy. You told us he was the one that gave you without hesitation. Who says he won't do it again? Luffy smiled at those words. He understood who she was talking about. I will defend myself, Tashigi said. Before you go, remember take Zoro to get new swords first. Luffy said. You will get your chance, but do not go looking for him in anger. Yes, Captain, Tashigi said smiling. Zoro, protect her, said Luffy. Zoro nodded as they went out. Sanji, Reiju, Kobe, go look for supplies, said Luffy. Ask Usopp if he needs anything. Right, said Kobe, Sanji and Reiju jumping off the ship as well. Let's go, Hancock, said Luffy. I want to talk to you about something. Of course, Luffy, said Hancock, grabbing his arm. They jumped and started to walk, a hood covering their faces, so the Marines won't recognize them. What did you want to talk about? Hancock asked him.
Remember I told I was going to tell you why I rescue. Luffy asked her, even when I didn't even know you.
Yeah, said Hancock. I didn't want to ask, so I just wait for you to tell me.
Well, this is why I want to talk to you alone, said Luffy. You are my vice captain and I want your advice if I should tell everyone what I am about to tell you.
Hancock just nodded and Luffy then told her everything about the original timeline and what happened. How he started his journey and how he meet all his friends and help all of them. Zoro, Nami, Usopp, Sanji, Chopper, Robin, Frankie, Brook, Jimbei and the Honorable Straw Hat, the Princess of Alabasta, Nefertiti Vivi. How he helped the princess taking down Crocodile, then going to the Skypia, then Water 7, then taking down Moria, then going to Sabaody Archipelago and how he punched a Celestian dragon, even knowing the consequences and what happened afterwards.
How he originally meet Hancock, while blushing. How she fall in love with him after he told her he didn't care she was a slave.
How he helped him try to rescue his brother Ace but failed at the end. How he decided to train for 2 years. How he hid his true feelings for her in order to protect her and he did the same for Nami, Robin, Vivi and 3 more girls he meet later, too afraid that they could have same fate as Ace's mother have been hunted down. How he later helped take down a mad fishman, trying to destroy Fishman Island and how the princess fall in love with him and just hide it.
How he liberated Dressrosa when he took down Don Flamingo.
One of the girls been Rebecca who fall in love with him but again he hide it and behave like an oblivious idiot to protect her.
Later he helped free Wano from Kaido. How Kaido's daughter fall for him and he just keep hiding his true feelings.
How they went to Egghead Island and helped the doctor in some conflicts. How they barely escaped, Manga's still going on here but I won't saying anything. How after some more researching they managed to get to Raft Isle and find the dark secret of the world government but sadly, just as they were going to do something, Sakasuki Akainu, the fleet admiral and Blackbeard, a crazy sociopath that wanted to conquer the world, just like his father, Zebek tried in the past. How the Straw Hats died fighting and how he was killed by both of them. Luffy even told what happened afterwards. Luffy then was hugged by Hancock as she cried. You are going to be king of the pirates this time. That I swear, she said then, making Luffy eyes widened. When we get Jinbe at impelled down, Tell your crew everything. Thank you for trusting me. You are the first woman I fall in love with, said Luffy, both in the previous timeline and in this one. You are going to have many queens, Luffy, said Hancock. Nami and Robin loves you already and I know the others will fall for you as well. This time, we will try to convince Vivi to join. Wait, Vey original timeline, her father is going to die, murdered by a monster. Then we will stop it, said Hancock, declare your dream where Roger died to the world. I like it, said Luffy, and looks like we have company. From the shadows, Alvida appeared. Who are you? Hancock asked. I am Alvida, she answered. You beat me, remember? I admit you become beautiful, said Hancock, but not as you, Alvida said depressed. Can I join your crew? I have a better idea, said Hancock. You will be part of my Luffy's fleet. What are you thinking? Luffy asked. That we form a crew with some of the female members of the crew. Hancock answered. Mari, Sonia, Reiju, Pudding and Tashigi if she wants. Well, is not a bad idea, said Luffy. We will talk to them. Go to my ship, the Thousand Sunny, and wait for us there. If my crew ask, tell them I send you there. Alvida nodded and left. A few minutes later, Luffy and Hancock were on the execution platform, looking at the people. You, get down from there, said a police officer. No, said Luffy. My name is Monkey D. Luffy and I will become the king of the pirates. With that he unleashed a bit of his conqueror's haki, making many marines and civilians passed out and those that didn't, were sweating but their eyes were widened. Time to go, my love, said Hancock as they jumped and went towards their ship. That's when they saw Tashigi looking at Smoker with pure hatred. Why did you sold me? She screamed. Zoro was behind her, trying to hold her from attacking. I am sorry but if the world nobles want something, I just can't deny them, even if you were a marine and my apprentice, Smoker answered. Is that your answer? Luffy asked furious. This was a totally different Smoker than the one he knew. In this one, he is a bad one. Monkey D. Luffy, Smoker just said, you will surrender right now. You are really trying to fight someone who was a member of Whitebeard's crew? Luffy asked but not with arrogance. His bounty was not joke and he was sure Smoker knew it. I will take you down right now, pirate scum, Smoker said as he turned to smoke. Luffy sighted as he swapped him away like a fly, making crashed on multiple buildings. Let's go, said Luffy, time to go to the Grand Line, Loguetown. A few hours after Straw Hats escaped Garp Pav. You are a freaking moron, said Garp to Smoker, who was covered in bandages on the chest. And what is this about giving a marine to a Celestian dragon? He wanted Tashigi, Smoker said, I just follow his orders. That's no excuse, said Garp. They know marines are not to become slaves. You know that. If I was the fleet admiral, I would dishonorable discharge you and send you home, said Garp. But lucky for you, Sengoku doesn't want you away because your fruit is useful. Now, what were you thinking trying to fight a pirate with a bounty of 150 million? Your orders were not to engage him. I couldn't let a pirate get away, Smoker said in anger. You are lucky my grandson didn't kill you, said Garp. Your grandson? Smoker said with his eyes widened. His name is Monkey D. Luffy, said Garp. Well, it doesn't matter. You are forbidden to leave Loguetown. If you do, you will lose your position, is that clear? Yes, sir, Smoker growled. Garp had the feeling he will disobey the order but he already warned him. Close to Reverse Mountain Luffy Pav, take care of Mary, said Luffy. Trust in his captain, said Mari, we will take care of her. I will do whatever I can to follow Nami's teachings, said Sonia smiling. Luffy smiled at that. Nami had been showing Sonia everything about navigation and that combined with what she learned, she become better. And I will cook for them, said Renju, make sure they never get hungry.
Good luck, sis, said Sanji. Take care, little brother, said Renju, try not to be a pervert. Luffy burst out laughing, knowing that it was almost impossible for that to happen but maybe Pudding will get the pervert under control.
Yeah, right? Said Zoro. The pervy cook will always be a pervert. Shut up, Mosehead, said Sanji. Who are you calling a Mosehead, damn pervert? Said Zoro as they crashed their heads, making the other Straw Hats sweet droop but their fight got the attention of Tashigi and Pudding who were furious as the best moment both were punched in their heads. Bam, bam, that's enough, said Tashigi as he grabbed Zoro by the ear.
Come here, Sanji-kun, said Pudding as he grabbed him by the ear, we need to talk. Stop that, woman, said Zoro as he was dragged away.
I will follow you to heaven, said Sanji with hearts replacing his eyes. Luffy-san, whisper Kobe to him, women are scary when angry. I agree, Luffy whispered back, at least they don't use a frying pan. Wait, what? Kobe said even more scared. Oh, nothing, said Luffy. That was too close. While he told Hancock his story, he didn't mention the frying pan of doom, the bane of all males gulping in fear. Well, Naruto never received but his friend Shikamaru and his father Shikaku were constant victims because they were too lazy.
So, why didn't you go with them? Zoro asked, not that I don't want you here.
Well, I guess I prefer to be with one of my saviors, Tashigi answered, making Zoro blushed, and I want a training partner. See you at water 7 inches, said Sonia. We will try not get to dangerous islands or provoke marines.
Take care, said Hancock. Soon, the Going Merry was climbing the reverse mountain and disappeared in the distance.
Let's wait a few minutes before climbing or we are going to crash with them, said Luffy. They waited for 10 minutes. I think we are good to go. Get ready, said Nami. We are about to enter the Grand Line. Get to your positions, said Luffy. Zoro, not sleeping on the job. Fine, said Zoro. Soon they were climbing the reverse mountain. I think it's time for a little ceremony before we enter the Grand Line, said Sanji as he brought a barrel. Luffy smiled at that. To find the all blue. To become the greatest pastry chef in the world, said Pudding. To become the king of the pirates, Luffy said smiling.
To help Luffy archived his dream, said Hancock. To draw the map of the world, said Nami.
To become the greatest swordman in the world, said Zoro.
To prove that women can become deadly with swords, said Tashigi smiling.
To take the Sunny to the end of the world, said Frankie. To become a great apprentice, said Kobe. That made Luffy almost choked. He had Anakin's memories and the leaving of Ashoka was something he never forgave the Jedi Council. So, Kobe was technically his apprentice and he had trained him in hockey. For being little coward, he learns fast. To become an even deadlier sniper than my father, said Usopp. Luffy's eyes widened at that. That was a huge dream change. And remember, this is a fanfiction. So in here, Usopp is different because Luffy trained him. Although he will be a coward sometimes. To become the greatest doctor, said Caya, to the Grand Line. Luffy and the other Straw Hats scream. Soon the Sunny was going up on the reverse mountain. That's when Luffy heard him. Laboon, the island whale they meet and who Brook wanted to see again. What the hell is that? Screamed a very scared Usopp. Is that a mountain? Asked Zoro. No, it's a freaking whale, screamed Tashigi. Frankie, said Luffy. Can we stop the Sunny? I can try, said Frankie. Luckily, he managed to stop the Sunny before it crashed on Laboon. Sadly, the whale opened its mouth and eat them anyway, but Luffy jumped away like he did last time. He nodded to Hancock, as she knew why he did it. Man, it's still weird seeing this, Luffy said as he went to look for Vivi.
This is how he met her and how their friendship started. Maybe he could tell her he knows about Baroque works and crocodile, but he quickly discarded the idea, as she will find it suspicious and maybe even scared her. His thoughts were interrupted when Laboon decided to submerge and he was sent down. Just like last time, he was about to crash with Vivi and Mr. 9, but he stopped just in time, using chakra to stick himself to the floor.
Who are you? Vivi asked him. Looks like we have company, Mr. 9. That was close, Luffy mumbled as he was about to kiss Vivi, but he spoke too soon, as just like Naruto was pushed by an unknown student and kissed Sasuke. Laboon decided to hit the red line just in that moment and he kissed Vivi in lips.
He quickly separate and look at the blushing Vivi. I am so sorry. I swear it was an accident. Before she could say anything, the door opened and Crocus come out, kicked the two intruders and went running, ignoring Luffy, but he quickly jumped and using his flying technique caught Vivi bridal style, making her blush even more, before she landed on the stomach acid.
Luffy, what happened? Hancock asked. Luffy saw Vivi still blushing and so he put her down. Well, Luffy started. How was he supposed to tell not only Hancock but also Nami and Robin what happened? Thankfully, Sanji has Pudding watching him like a hawk in case the pervy cook enters his pervert mode. Nothing, said Vivi blushing even more, he just helped me. Captain, what did you do? Kobe asked curious. The girl is a blushing mess. A tick mark appeared on Luffy's forehead and so, he decided to use the fist of love on his Padawan's head Grand Line. Luffy paused just like last time. After they escape Laboon, he decided to fight with Laboon and promise him they will return, even whispering that he knows where one of his friends is. Luffy also decided to take Vivi and Crown Weirdo to Whiskey Pete. The weather become hell, but a difference of the Going Merry. The Sunny was stronger and they had Frankie this time. Something was very different though. Vivi blushed each time Luffy come close and even squeaks when he brings her something to eat. Seriously, Luffy, what did you do? Hancock asked, giggling at Vivi's latest squeak. Luffy felt his cheeks heating up and look away. I kind of kissed her by accident, said Luffy. Much to his confusion, Hancock burst out laughing. Why are laughing? You told me she falls in love with you, right? Hancock asks him. Well, yeah, Luffy answered, but that happened after freeing her kingdom from Crocodile's hands. I think you did that earlier now, giggled Hancock. It was an accidental kiss, said Luffy blushing. I know, said Hancock, but it probably was her first kiss and she is probably afraid of me as well. Luffy sweet droop at that. Don't worry, I will talk to her about sharing you. Yeah, thank. Wait, what? Luffy said, but Hancock had already went to Vivi, much to Luffy's horror. Whatever Hancock told Vivi, Luffy saw as she blushed a crimson red. Seconds later steam started to come out of her ears and then she passed out. But got even worse when Nami and Robin asked what happened. Luffy ran off to his room as fast as possible or he would die of embarrassment as he heard the laughter from the girls. Sometime later Whiskey Peak. "Well, thanks for bringing us here," said a blushing Vivi. "We will see you later," said the crown weirdo. Just like last time, they jumped from the ship. "I will tell you all of you right now," said Luffy. "If anyone believes what we are going to see in the next seconds, I will show you the fist of love." Kobe let out a squeak as he held his head. "Pudding, if I were you, I would hold the pervy cook." Pudding rose one of her eyebrows. That's until the cheering was heard, welcoming them. "If I was the same person before you trained me, Luffy, I would have fall for it," Usopp said with honestly. "That's for sure," said Caya laughing, much to Usopp's embarrassment. "So many pretty girls," said the pervert of the crew. Luffy's eyes widened with horror at feeling a deadly aura coming from Pudding. Luffy then hugged Frankie, Usopp and Kobe in fear. "Sanji-kun," said Pudding cracking her knuckles. Bam! 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 3 huge bumps appeared on Sanji's head and face as Pudding dragged him away. "Women are so scary," said Kobe. "I will stay single." "Super," said Frankie. "Me too." "Well, I am fine with my girls," said Luffy. He noticed that Hancock, Nami and Robin were smiling at him. "I am fine with my partner as well," said Zoro, making Tashigi blushed. Sanji mumbling something but with so many bumps on his face, it was impossible to understand him and Pudding deadly aura didn't go away. "What's the plan, Luffy?" Hancock asked him. "We will party," said Luffy, "and then we will teach this people who are the Straw Hats." Luffy leak a bit of Conqueror's Haki, making some of the people sweat a bit. Same day, night, an. "I am skipping the feast, Zoro." "Tashigi, go scared them," said Luffy as he saw Sanji sleeping peacefully, which annoyed him. "Pudding, wake the pervert up." Even after Pudding gave the pervy cook a beating, he still flirt like an idiot. But to his complete horror, Pudding grabbed a frying pan and hit Sanji on the head with it. "No way," said Kobe, "I am definitely staying single." "That's too much," said Usopp scared. "The pervert had it coming," said Zoro. "Even the captain, who is a chick magnet, doesn't flirt like the cook." "Just go," said Luffy, "before you start fighting." "Fine," said Zoro. "Yes, Captain," said Tashigi. After both Swordman and Swordwoman left, he then looked at Nami and Robin. "Go see if you can steal money," said Luffy. He sweet drooped when Nami's eyes changed to berry signs. "Robin, watch out for her." "Of course, Captain," said Robin. "What do I do, Captain?" Kobe asked. "You will train your haki on these weaklings," said Luffy. "Usopp, watch his back." "Caya, train your devil fruit powers here." The 3 of them saluted and left. Screams could be heard from outside. "Hancock, you and me, we are going to look for our princess," Luffy said, smiling at his first queen. "Of course," said Hancock. They left together and after some minutes, they found her. 2 very familiar figures were attacking her. "That man is disgusting and a weakling, but with the right training, he could be deadly." "The girl looks strong," said Luffy. "What do you think? Should we add her to the fleet?" "I think she would be perfect for the all-female crew," Hancock said. "Should we take care of them?" "I think some Conqueror's Haki will make them see who is strongest," said Luffy, cracking his knuckles. Both of them jumped as Mr. 5 sent one of his explosive snots towards the princess, but Luffy cut it in 2 with Ace. "That's disgusting. Now I will have to clean my sword 5 times. "Who the hell are you?" Mr. 5 asked. "Wait, don't," said Mrs. Valentine. "That's Monkey D. Luffy. His bounty is 150 million. He was also part of the crew of Whitebeard, the Yonko." "You are well informed," said Luffy. "How about you join my fleet and I won't end you?" "I don't think so," said Mr. 5 as he was about to attack, but Luffy and Hancock sent a small blast of Conqueror's Haki, making him kneel. "I will join, just stop," said Mrs. Valentine. "What is this power?" said Mr. 5, still kneeling on the floor. "What are you helping me?" Vivi asked then. "You don't even know me." "Well, call it a way of me saying sorry for what happened when we were on Laboon," Luffy said. He saw Vivi blush to crimson red at those words. "And because my pops doesn't like that croc." "How do you?" Vivi started to ask, when a vulture and an otter fall down unconscious, the unluckies. "Hancock, why don't you make this 2 animals change sides?" Luffy asked his queen, with an evil smile. Hancock looked at Luffy and nodded as she cracked her knuckles. "Of course, dear," said Hancock. Luffy saw as Hancock went to the animals and beat them up, crushing their wills at the same time. Done. "So, do you know who is your new boss?" Luffy asked them. Both animals, who had many bumps, salute Luffy in a respectable manner. "Good, I want you to bring me an eternal pose to Alabasta and Drum Kingdom." The animals nodded and went away. "Why Drum Island?" Vivi asked Luffy. "I heard they have the best doctos there." Luffy answered, "We need one." Luffy, she is a princess and if she pays us 1 billion berries, we will help her, said Nami with berry signs instead of eyes. Nami, seriously? Luffy said, I help you and I didn't ask for anything? Luffy saw as Nami pouted as Robin console her. Of course, he had to react to what Nami said about Vivi being a princess. Wait, you're a princess? I am so sorry. It's okay, said Vivi. I kind of like it. Luffy saw Vivi blushed at what she said. Well, we will help you, said Luffy. I feel my pops would help you as well. So, what do we do? Asked Mrs. Valentine. First, I need your real names, said Luffy. Mine is Makita, answered Mrs. Valentine. Mine is Gem, said Mr. 5. Good, said Luffy. I want you to go to Water 7 and meet with my other fleet commanders. You Makita will serve under Alvida, with an all-female crew and you, Gem, will join with Jin. Of course, they said. Luffy could tell they were afraid of Hancock after they saw her beating up the living daylights out of the Unluckies. Let's go, to Alabasta, said Luffy. He had a feeling he was forgetting something that happened here but he didn't know what. Princess Vivi, you should go with them, said then Igaram. Much to Luffy's horror, he saw him dressed with woman clothing. My eyes, said Luffy as he covered them, my eyes on fire. No, said Sanji. What's that monstrosity? My poor eyes, said Kobe. I will have nightmares for all eternity. I need to destroy my eyes, cried Usopp. WHD Zoro with sharp teeth, don't you have some dignity? Oh, Igaram, Luffy heard Vivi said with embarrassment, did really need to dress like me? Like he could. Luffy said, you are too beautiful. Luffy covered his mouth and could feel his cheeks heating up as Vivi giggled. After Igaram left, Luffy and the others started going back to the Sunny but the ship Igaram was in blew up and this time, he wasn't alive. Looks like we have some traitors, said a female voice. Luffy knew she heard that voice from somewhere. Noticed that Pudding was frozen with fear, as she knew who the voice belonged to and the same was with Vivi. But Luffy started to wonder something. There was one big difference between this timeline and the original one. Robin was with him from the beginning and so he started to think. If Robin is with him, then who is the Mrs. All Sunday that just killed Igaram? If Pudding is afraid of that person, it can only meant it's one of her siblings but who? Luffy Pav. It's my sister, Custard, said Pudding, but she would never betrayed my mother. You're right about that, traitor, said Custard. Guess I will inform mother of the treason of Katakuri and Brûlé. My husband sent me here to check if Mrs. Valentine and Mr. 5 had get rid of the princess but seems they failed. Don't tell me, Luffy said his eyes widened with horror. That's right. Sir Crocodile is my husband, said Charlotte Custard. The Marines are too stupid to realize that I didn't betray my mother. Well, go to sleep then, said Luffy as he unleashed a full blast of Conqueror's Haki, knocking the Charlotte out instantly before she could do anything. We need to go, now. Luffy is right, said Hancock. This is really bad. We need to go. Luffy saw the other Straw Hats nodded as well as Makita and Gem as they all go to the Sunny. Nami, let's go the next island. There is no time for planning, said Luffy as he went to the mirror and like they were reading Luffy's mind, Katakuri and Brûlé appeared. Something happened? Katakuri asked him with a serious tone. Your sister, Charlotte Custard, just appeared and revealed she is married to Sir Crocodile, Luffy said. She saw Pudding, didn't she? Brûlé said then worried. Yes, Luffy answered. I knock her out with Conqueror's Haki but she will wake up sooner or later. Mother told us she abandoned the family, said Katakuri. She hasn't trusted us since we told her we found Pudding's body and now she will know we lied. You better get out of there, said Luffy, she will kill you. But where do we go? Brûlé asked. She will hunt us down. This is just an offer but you can join my fleet, said Luffy, but you can do whatever you want. We will think about it, said Katakuri. First, we need to escape our mother's wrath and you should be careful, she will probably come for you as well. Pops always told me I have the power to defeat her if I wanted to when I told him about Pudding, Luffy answered. Guess I will have to do what I must. Be careful of her, said Katakuri. She is one very dangerous opponent when angry, of that Luffy is very aware. It took the combination of Law and Kid to defeat that crazy bitch. Even then, they were completely exhausted afterwards. Take care as well, said Luffy. He exists and saw Pudding waiting for him. What now? She asks. You do know she will come for you as soon as you take down Crocodile, right? I know, said Luffy, but this also means we will encounter more of your siblings. If this is an alliance, I have the feeling that Custard is the least of our problems. The moment we arrived in Alabasta, we will know how much this alliance is. I am so sorry, said then Vivi. I knew she was dangerous when we followed her but I didn't know she was a daughter of Big Mom. Don't worry, it's okay, said Luffy, but now, this changes something. When I said I wasn't going to ask for anything, I meant it bud. If we do this, we will piss off Big Mom and by doing that, there is a chance that we will end up fighting her. But you told us we aren't ready, said Nami worried. Yeah, I know, said Luffy, but when I say that, I didn't think this would happen. So, I will triple your training with the help of Hancock and Robin. And about the price. What is it? Vivi asked worried. If I defeat Big Mom, then there is a very high chance I will take her title as a Yonko. In order to make the world government think we didn't help you in kindness. Because that's what they would think, so, I will declare Alabasta as my territory and I will ask for a marriage alliance, said Hancock then, making Vivi blush to crimson red and Luffy could feel his cheeks were on fire. I was going to say in a different way but yes, said Luffy, of course, I won't force you, Vivi. This is only a. He was interrupted when Vivi jumped at him and kissed him. Lucky bastard, Luffy heard Sanji mumble but was hit on the head seconds later by Pudding. I accept, said Vivi. You wanted to help me, even when you didn't know me very well. In truth, I've been a fan of you ever since your first bounty appeared. You are strong and smart. You are not a racist, as you were the only human on the Sun Pirates. You even avenged your captain and friend. You then become part of the Whitebeard Pirates and now you have your crew. It's amazing. Luffy blinked at that. He wonders how many fangirls he has but he isn't Sasuke Uchiha, who rejected all the girls in his class. A princess is a fan of Luffy since he got his first bounty at the age of 11, Nami sweet droops. That's not strange at all. What can I say? Luffy said, that's who I am. Now, time for some training and I will call this training of hell. His personality mixed Goku's, Naruto's and Anakin's, well, it make him act more strange than normal. Oh, no, said Usopp, not again. Luffy saw as his friend had anime tears and he smiled evilly. Usopp, you idiot, said Caya, do you want to be tortured again? Come on, said Luffy. We will be training on our way to Alabasta. What is next island, Nami? I think it's Little Garden but we don't have any information, Nami answered. When I was in Amazon Lily, I read some info on the island, Robin said. It's a prehistoric island. Prehistoric island? Usopp repeated. It means we may encounter some extinct animals, so we have to be careful, said Luffy. Especially if there are insects that can give us diseases and right now we don't have a doctor with us. Whole Cake Island, New World no one Pav. What did you say? Screamed a very tall and fat woman. She had a hideous face and was wearing a long pink dress. Her name was Big Mom, one of the 4 Yonkos and one of the most dangerous pirates of the world, with a bounty of more than 4 billion berries. Pudding is alive, said Charlotte Custard, one of the children of Big Mom. Currently she was sent to marry Sir Crocodile, one of the Shichibukai pirates working with world government. Currently, he is planning to take over Alabasta and has make a deal with Big Mom. Big Mom have grabbed him and forced him to marry one of his daughters and in exchange, she will support the illegal activities of Baroque works and also provide someone that could read the poneglyphs. Sadly that plan had gone to hell when Charlotte Pudding was kidnapped by slavers and later when Charlotte Katakuri and Charlotte Brûlé reported that she died. Where is that traitor? With Monkey D. Luffy, captain of the Straw Hats, Custard answered, former member of the Whitebeard Pirates. Charlotte Lilin aka Big Mom crushed the snail in fury as she unleashed her conqueror's haki knocking out everyone on the room. Damn you, Edward, Little Garden, Grand Line. Luffy Pav, just as I suspected, said Luffy. There is someone very powerful in here, Luffy said with seriousness. By now, my mother will know I am alive, said Pudding, but she won't be so rash. She may think you are too cocky and can send my brothers and sisters to kill you. She can't exactly expose Crocodile, said Luffy. So, those children are probably making the Marines think they betrayed her. Are all Marines really that stupid? Zoro asked. Luffy couldn't blame him, not after seeing Morgan and that rat Nezumi. My grandpa and Sengoku aren't, said Luffy, and neither are the 2 admirals, Kuzan and Kizaru. Since I defeat Sakasuki, and he was demoted, I don't know who is the new one but he probably doesn't either. Luffy had the feeling it's Fujitora or the one with the Logia devil fruit powers to create plants but he wasn't sure. Other vice admirals may not believe it either but Crocodile is a sneaky rat for a reason. So, who's our opponent here? Zoro asked, probably one of Big Mom elder children, Luffy answered. Katakuri and Brûlé left, so we can discard them. It had to be someone who won't be suspected of leaving. It can't be any of the strong ministers, Pudding said. It has to be other children who would never leave that easy. I don't know, Luffy said, but what I do know is that they are strong. Luffy looked up and saw a tall woman with hat. She looked like she was in her late 40s. She was sitting on a branch of a tree with smoking cigar. So, Custard was right, said the woman. You truly betrayed us, Pudding. That's Charlotte Amand, said Tashigi. I don't know her bounty but it's very high. I will end this quick, Charlotte Amand as she took her sword but Luffy was faster as he jumped and before she could even react, he attacked her with ace and Luffy was about to do a technique famously used by Gold D. Roger. Kamusari, Luffy said, making the Charlotte woman eyes widened in horror as she put her sword to block it but when Ace touched it, there was an explosion the next second that sent her flying and make her crash on multiple trees until Luffy knew she was unconscious but. Holy shit, said Usopp with starish eyes, That was so cool. What the hell? Said Zoro. That's the legendary attack of Gold Roger. Tashigi finished what Zoro was about to say. Where did you learn? I had a great teachers, Luffy said smiling, as he remembers when Rayleigh told him about that deadly technique and even Whitebeard helped him practice and refine. Besides, I am not second best swordman for nothing. But that will not stop her for long, said Luffy. If I kill her, we would have Big Mom after our asses. For what I know of her, she doesn't really care about her children as they are just tools for her. She will kill them if they betrayed her or disobeyed her, and she will kill anyone that kills them, just because she wants to teach the one that did it a lesson. The captain is right, said Pudding. My mother is a cruel and sadistic woman. She only cares about food and nothing else. A lot of my siblings are loyal to her out of fear of losing their souls. Come out, before I decided to use my fists on you, said Luffy suddenly. 3 people come out. One was a man with glasses with a hairstyle shaped as a 3, a teenage girl, and the last one was a man dressed as a ballerina. That made Luffy shivered alongside Sanji, Usopp and Zoro. Luffy almost burst out laughing when he saw Kobe looking at the teenage girl with heart-shaped eyes. So much for not falling in love, my Padawan, said Luffy laughing at Kobe, who blushed a crimson red. Please don't kill us, said the one dressed as a ballerina, you are too powerful. Hi, said Kobe to the teen, who blushed. Didn't he got scared of Pudding and swore you will stay single? Frankie mumbled to himself. Well, that's love at first sight would do to someone, said Luffy, looking at Hancock, who blushed as he smiled at her. I agree, said Vivi blushing. Luffy saw as Nami just mumbled something but he couldn't hear it, while Robin was silently nodding. So, I will give you the same offer as I did to Makita and Gem. Join my fleet, Luffy said. If you accept, I need your real names. Mine is Marianne, said the teen, but more to Kobe, who blushed to Hinata level. Mine is Bon-chan, said the one with ballerina dress. Mine is Galdino, said the one with glasses. So, anyone else in here? Luffy asked. No, Galdino answered. Charlotte Compote was the only one here. There's also 2 giants, but she isn't stupid enough to provoke them. Tell me something, little guy. Was it you did that crazy technique? Asked then someone from the Trail of Destruction. Luffy's eyes almost pop out of their sockets when he saw the giant. That's right, Luffy answered. Holy shit, said Usopp, it's a giant. That's interesting, said another giant. What's your name? Monkey D. Luffy, future king of the pirates, Luffy answered. If we're not an eternal duel, I would ask you if we can join you, said one of the giants. Well, you can join me, said Luffy. No problem, it will be so cool if you could. Maybe one day, little guy, said the giant. My name is Buggy. And mine is Dory, said the other giant. At that moment, the unluckies come back and drop the 2 eternal poses to Hancock. Good boys, said Hancock. Both animals were apparently happy they praised and not hit. Do we a favor, said Luffy then. Tell Crocodile that we are dead, Mr. 3. What? Mr. 3 said sweating. Crocodile, as the warlord of the sea. That's Mr. 0 inches, said Luffy. Tell him the Straw Hats are dead. Won't work, said Marianne. Charlotte Compote will report another thing later. Then get on, said Luffy. We are going to Drum Island to get a doctor, and let's hope we don't encounter another member of Charlotte family. Chopper. Just hold a little more, my friend. Soon you will have the adventure of a lifetime.